What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. Going to be joined very shortly by Ryan McCluskey, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the college football podcast, the Sooner DeBoer-cle. We are just past week 12 of the collegiate football season. The end is nigh. In 2 weeks, we will know the playoff brackets for the FBS, who has won. Well, not who has won every conference. Well, sorry. In 2 weeks, we'll know all the championship games. In 3 weeks, we will know the final playoff bracket. But as far as the FCS goes, Selection Sunday is just 5 days away. Yes, this coming Sunday, we're going to find out who the 13 at-large bids go to, joining the 11 automatic qualifiers for the FCS playoffs. And it has come down to the absolute net in the vast majority of conferences there. We're going to be going through the permutations for the FCS playoffs today. We're going to be going through the permutations for the FBS in terms of the conferences, who can still win them, who is in with a chance, and who needs what to get to the championship game. We've got a few other bits and bobs. Ryan is going to finish his two-part on draft prospects that he has begun to love as the season has gone on. And I have been digging through the group of five to find out the stars of tomorrow. And just me, there's quite a few of them in there. And then after all that, we've got the Week 12 review to do, as well as the Pick Watch. So we have an absolute ton of stuff lined up for you this evening. It's going to be a good one. I hope all of you are well. Yes, Marmarker is in the building. He goes, Gophers and Oregon, shaking my head. Yes, we're going to talk about your Golden Gophers later, while Marker, as we welcome Ryan into the building. Ryan, there isn't long left to go now, buddy. 2 weeks. We're going to know the lineup for every championship game in the FBS. And this coming Sunday, it's Selection Sunday for the FCS playoffs. We're going to know what that bracket is this time next week, because you are going to try and guess it, my friend. The regular season is nearly done.
Yep, this is it. This is the business end of the year. All the hard work the last couple of months have all gone into this, and yeah, it's there's only a handful of teams right now that are looking towards January, and this weekend is it's make or break. It's do or die for pretty much everyone this weekend. It feels like a lot of teams are on the thinnest of ice.
Yes, they are absolutely, as are a lot of players as well, as they begin to mold their decision. Do they come to the NFL draft? Do they go through the postseason? Do they go through bowl games? Do they accept invitations for the All-Star games? More importantly, do they start to hit that portal? Because we're seeing some names start to float around, and some guys who already look like they are on their way in. So as I say, we've got a lot to go through today, so we're going to skip the usual housekeeping stuff. You know all that jazz with us by now at this point. As always, we appreciate your continued support of the channel. We're going to dive right down into the news, and as opposed to head coach firings this week, right, we have our first big appointment for a franchise going forward. And James Franklin, he was not jobless for very long. Recently released by Penn State after what, nearly 12 seasons there in Happy Valley. He's got a new home, and he is going to Blacksburg, Virginia, to take charge of the Virginia Tech Hokies. The Hokies, they are a fallen ACC power. They're coming off the 16-24 record of Brent Pry, but they are now investing an extra $230 million in their football program over the next 4 to 5 years, and they have got in Franklin, who over his career 128-60 as a head coach. They've brought him to oversee this new project of theirs. As far as Penn State goes, this is good news for them. Their buyout of Franklin has dropped from $49 million to $9 million. And basically what we can surmise from this, because his new contract is worked against his buyout. So whatever Virginia Tech are paying James Franklin, Penn State don't have to pay him. So the fact that it has gone down 40 million from 49 million to 9 million means that James Franklin's new contract is going to be worth about $40 million. We do know that. We just do not know the length of time over which it is spread. Tech um, don't have a double-digit win season since 2016, going all the way back to when Frank Beamer was there and the legendary run he had. But the last decade, Ryan, this Virginia Tech program has fallen on hard times. It's not been good. It's been inconsistent, despite having the stadium, the fan base. It just needs a steady guiding hand to take it forward. And for all Franklin's critics about him doing well in top ranked games and everything, at both Vanderbilt and at Penn State, he inherited bad situations. He stabilized the ship and turned them into perennial sort of outside contenders. This feels like a really good fit on things. Virginia Tech needs stability right now and someone who can come in and change this mantra of losing. And Franklin, one of the best on the market.
It's interesting that he's committed so early before waiting for all the. I don't know, there'll have been some more attractive vacancies, but maybe he realised they wouldn't have had interest in him. Maybe he's thought to himself that all that good work at Penn State, but the lack of production in big games and championships and that would have probably held him back for getting the big roles. But I'm you. I I like the fit purely off the basis that he's the safest pair of hands right now available on the market, and they've decided to just go all in on him before waiting to see who else might have become available. He will steady the ship. He will get the fans back on side. He's a neutral character, as you say. He's not gobby. He's not outspoken. Like you say, he's a fairly down to earth guy. I've always thought that, like you say, he's a pretty mild mannered dude. So, like I say, and the contract doesn't sound too bad. It's not too long. It's not overly expensive. So if it doesn't work out, then at least they can part ways pretty well. But yeah, it's it's a big program. It's a fairly big brand, like you say, and it's one of those where if it does click and it does go well, then you'll suddenly back in the good graces of the college football world again if you can get them back. The ACC landscape right now is a mess. ACC it's a joke, isn't it? Like I say, whoever wins that conference this year, not me now, they ain't doing nothing in the playoffs
No,
because they'll get their ass whipped by pretty much everyone else. So he has got a chance to immediately turn them into a contender. And the pull of Penn State as well, like you say, the commits that have decommitted from Penn State, and there were a lot of them. Some of them may well be willing to try their hand and follow him. So this could be good for their next recruiting class.
yeah, one certainly would hope so. Franklin to Virginia Tech. I'm looking forward to seeing the project there. Say it's a team that has just been down on its luck, and hopefully he can at least turn them into an upper echelon ACC team again, which can, threaten anybody on its day.
Penn State will be delighted as well to get it so done, save a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what goes on there. But yeah, for Penn State, you say 9 million now instead of 49. It's pretty good. That's going to open up some more funds for your own coaching search, and will remains to be seen what they do. James Eisner's in the chat says Notre Dame in the top 10 is ridiculous. Imo. Yeah, we'll get to the rankings soon, but I'm with you. Notre Dame are not a 10-10 team this year and don't deserve to be. They don't have a single quality win on that schedule. Even beating Pittsburgh this week, who should probably not have been a ranked team. And again, as part of what Ryan's just said, a really bad ACC this year. But I agree with you. They should not be top 10, but they're a brand. And unfortunately, their brand carries a lot of weight. And while they're only two loss, that brand will go to the playoffs. Last week we talked Army released their uniforms for the big Army-Navy matchup coming, and just today Navy have issued their response. Obviously, it is the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy this year, and that is what they will be celebrating. And Navy's uniform is going to be honoring the USS Constitution and recognizing its place in American and naval history. The ship is the oldest commissioned warship in the world that is still afloat, and it's also the only frigate that still exists out of the US Navy's six original frigates. And this all comes down to their helmet design, which for me is truly stunning. So there's a ton of features on this thing. They've got a picture and a drawing of the USS Constitution on it itself. They're this wonderful copper color. The helmets are that resembles the copper sheathed under the hull of the USS Constitution, or the copper sheathing that protected the Navy's original frigates as one. You've got like a beam and some rope tied around it as well. Like I think it's done in real nice fashion. And then the uni itself, I mean, they've sort of gone with the old-fashioned font a bit again, the light navy blue and the white. For me, the uni's a bit meh, but in terms of those helmets, right, I think they're absolutely fantastic. This year, I think Army win it overall, but Navy's lids win the battle of the two of them. I think they're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, helmet's doing a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, the helmet and the uniform for me don't work. They don't go together. Like say, why are the pants white? Like say that looks odd. I like the helmet. Like say, it's kind of like this new what was who was it who did the leather one? Was it Indiana or
Illinois did
Illinois
the
did the leather look, didn't they? This is giving much very like say parchment, matte leather kind of look. And yeah, like I say, I love the blue speckle, like it's got like a blue face mask, like bubbling ocean. Like I say, it looks really good. Yeah, the uniform's pretty mid, pretty basic. I think Army ever won the lead going into the game, but like I say, we know they don't necessarily mount the grand scheme of things. But yeah, it's one of the highlights of the year always. The game in general, it's always one of the most respected and like I say, most watched games of the year. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely it will be. And as I say, it'll be a case I'll be watching. But yeah, the army uniform's beautiful. Navy's lid is very good, but we will be watching it very closely. But yeah, the two uniforms are now out. Right, in terms of other news, we're now going to dive down into the playoff pictures, which we kind of include in the news. And as I mentioned at the start of the show, and this is very much in Ryan's wheelhouse, the FCS Playoffs Selection Sunday, beg my pardon, is coming this week, where 13 teams will be picked by the FCS committee to pair with 11 teams who get the automatic bids from their conferences, and we will see the FCS playoff picture in a week time now. But, right, considering there is 1 week left, there is next to nothing decided about what is going on here. So, as it stands, we have three auto bids confirmed
Two
out
weeks
of
ago, we only had
11.
two auto bids, and 2 weeks
Yes.
later, we've only added one auto bid.
We have. So this is how it stands out at the minute. So we've got three auto bids confirmed for the FCS right now. We've got North Dakota State, who have won the Missouri Valley Football Conference this year. We've got Mercer, who have won the SoCon. And then the third, the addition since last we talked about this, is Stephen F. Austin, who have won the Southland. But boy, oh boy, in the other 8 conferences, 4 of them have come down to winner takes all this week in matchups between the two teams who are fighting for conference supremacy. And it just so happens that there are some damn big rivalry games in here as well, right? So we start with the Big Sky. This comes down to the Brawl of the Wild. Montana State at Montana, 2 versus 3. Loser's probably going to get kicked into North Dakota State's half of the FCS playoff draw, which absolutely no team wants at this moment in time. Going to be one of the biggest iterations of this battle in some time. In the Ivy League, you have the game. That is Harvard at Yale. This decides the Ivy League winner this year, and it decides who is going to be the first ever Ivy League playoff team. After 4 decades of not participating in the playoffs, they are now doing so. So this is one of the oldest rivalries in the country, and the stakes have never been higher. In the OVC Big South, you've got the Sergeant York Trophy. You've got the University of Tennessee Martin on the road at Tennessee Tech to decide that one. And then in the Patriot League, you have the rivalry to beat all rivalries, Lehigh at Lafayette. This is the most played rivalry game in the nation. This is going to be the 161st edition of this rivalry. It is the most played and it is the longest uninterrupted rivalry game ever. Just starting with those four there, right? This shows how close this season has been in the FCS. You have four absolutely massive games here, which could decide a lot in the future of the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, as you say, winner takes all. Like look at Lehigh, Lafayette, 11-0 and 8-3. Lafayette lose 8-4. They go from getting the bye to probably starting in the quarterfinal, and they'll probably be one of the like say the last five ranked teams. So the difference for them winning to losing is massive. Whereas Lehigh probably, like say, get a very favourable draw even if they were to lose and not win the conference. Like I said, the auto bids getting by, but it's one of those where it's going to be very interesting to see if any of them can upset the apple cart. Because, like I say, we've got two teams on 11-game win streaks, Lehigh and Montana. They both lead, like I say, and they've both, like I say, dominated all year. But because we've had one team chasing them down, they still by now have not won their conference, which is kind of unheard of. Imagine spending all year unbeaten and defeating everybody, and you could still slip up at the final. Like I say, it's very interesting. I mean, I look at the one that could probably slip up the most is I've got to look at Yale beating Harvard. Right, say the Crimson have had a very good year, but it'd be very Ivy League if, like, say, the last hurdle they fell. And yeah, there ain't no second team getting in. They will. I can't see any way they put in a second Ivy League team, like say, with one of those at-large bids. I'd be very surprised.
Even just a one-loss Ivy League side.
I don't know how much they respect. I mean, well, we already know they don't respect Ivy League football because it's taken so long to get this done. I imagine Ivy League at some point probably wanted it, or the committee have not been great about having it, whether it's been a mutual. But I don't know. I don't know how much they respect it.
Hmm.
Football. Be interesting to see if Harvard lost. If
Yeah.
they did give Harvard maybe one of the very late at-large bids. Be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go
That
straight, I'm going to say Montana. I'm going to say Yale get the upset. I saw what Lafayette did to Holy Cross last week. Destroyed them. Lehigh are winning that one. And then, yeah, it's,
you got the Tennessees, Martin and Tech. Obviously,
yeah,
Tech lost their first one this year, but against Kentucky, they're 15 unbeaten in the FCS.
yeah, I think Tennessee Tech will probably take that one. Yeah. So for me, if there's going to be an upset, which it would be, I'm going to take the pitch. I'm going to take the Ivy League. I'm going to say you
Hmm.
might just slip in.
Obviously, that Big Sky one, that it's more than just the playoffs there, right? Like, say, if you lose and you get bumped down to four, that puts you in North Dakota State's side of the draw, and that is probably the last thing either of those teams will want.
Yeah, and like I say, Montana recent last couple of years compared to the Bobcats have fallen off the Grizz, but the Grizz are this year they're the top dog. They're like I say after NDSU, best team in the country, and their home and field advantage, like I say, at their stadium probably means more than a lot of other teams. Like I say, they've got the altitude, they've got the climate. It's probably snowing right now in Montana.
Yeah.
So they've got the fan base. So everything will kind of go right now in their favor. So it'd be very interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, so we've got three decided, four coming down to winner takes all. As for the other four, in the ASUN WAC, which is the new UAC, Abilene Christian, they can clinch with a win against Central Arkansas. A loss, though, opens up scenarios for Tarleton State and Southern Utah to win in
Crazy
this
Tarleton State are on the outside looking in. When you think about how they started the year,
beat Army
they were
and
one of the best teams in the
smoked.
country for like say two-thirds of the season.
Hmm. I see. I don't know too much. Would the Ace and Whack get a couple of guys in there? Will Tarleton still make it even if they don't win it?
I'd be
Because
very surprised if they didn't make it.
yeah,
Had
so
such a strong start to the year.
yeah, you should see a couple of those teams in there. In the CAA, Rhode Island, they can clinch with a win against Hampton. A loss would open up scenarios for Villanova and Monmouth to win it, though.
Like I said, some of those are going to miss out, but in recent years, you've seen Rhode Island and Villanova always there. The Monmouth Hawks as well. They sent a couple of players to the NFL in recent years. but like I say, that one, two maybe could miss out.
Absolutely, they could. In the NEC, you've got Central Connecticut State. They can clinch with a win against Mercyhurst, who are ineligible for the playoffs. A loss opens up a scenario for Duquesne to win. Central Connecticut State made it last year, didn't they? And I believe it was their first appearance in some time, maybe ever. They're not in it very often, are they? So they've done well to get back potentially, as long as they don't lose.
Yeah, they've done very well. Yeah, like I say, it's been very good. I mean, there's one team, like I say, that's not in the playoff race, but we do have to talk about the Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros, the brand new team in the nation that went 6-0 home. They've got like a what $120 million stadium, just a brand new football team started out of nowhere. Got 8-3. I
Yeah.
mean, they can't make it, but if you're talking for an introduction to the FCS, I mean, you ain't looking at anywhere right now. Like I said, they're a huge market.
They
They are a
are.
team definitely to watch in the future in
Oh,
that sense. I think they're going to have a scary rise because I think they've got a good amount of bidding behind them. I think they've got some power and a bit
and
of funding.
and
So
you're in that Texasy area for
yeah,
recruiting, aren't
they're
you?
going to be
So
a very dangerous team in the next few years if they manage to keep up this funding pattern, like say what they're doing right now.
indeed they are. And then the final one is the Pioneer. Drake can clinch with a win against Morehead State. A loss there opens up a potential scenario for Presbyterian to win. But Drake, another returner from last year to the playoffs if they make it, although they did get blown out pretty early, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, like I say, they've been up and down. Like I say, they've split on the road. They've been okay at home. I mean, out of conference, not great, but in conference, been really good. Like I say, Presbyterian, plenty more wins, unbeaten at home. It's just extra loss in conference. Like I say, now they're kind of needing a miracle. I'd say I'd be very surprised if well, Morehead State, they have got a 4-game win streak, so
Mhm.
Drake can't rest on the laurels.
Nope, nope. There's potentially two there. So that's everything in terms of the main 11 conferences and where things stand at the minute. In terms of the HBCUs, some really interesting storylines down here in the MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Another winner takes all scenario. South Carolina State at Delaware State, Ryan. Delaware State, fronted by former NFL wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. They have
Yeah,
not
they've had
won
a
a
really good
MEAC.
year.
They have not won a MEAC title since 2007. That's approaching 20 years. They have home advantage. Now, SC State have been good in recent years. Like a lot of their talent has come to the draft and up to the FBS level. But I mean, hell of a good year for them. First year challenging for the MEAC, and they've got home advantage to clinch it.
Yep, like you said, two of the best teams in the FCS. You've got Delaware State, 5-game win streak, SC State win streak, but one's 4-0 at home, one's 5-0 at home. They're both 3-3 on the road. So you've got to give a huge advantage straight away to Delaware State. Like I said, both of them have not travelled well this year. But yeah, they are pretty much identical across the board. Winner takes all. Can SC State finally shake their not travelling state well? But yeah, great year. Like I say, Djax, like I say, he deserves a lot of credit for. Look, I mean, the program was kind of gifted to him, like you say, but he's come in, he's doing a good job. Like you say, he's got the competitive, so yeah, be very interesting to see how they do going forward.
Yep. So winner of that wins the
Crazy
MEAC and
year to think though, like
also
you say, South Dakota State. I mean, do they miss the playoffs? Do you think?
probably are. They're a four-loss team now, aren't they?
7-4, like say, lost 4 in the row. Does the committee love them that much?
So the
South
great
Dakota, like say 8-4, like say I suppose they have to get them that large, and you got Illinois State.
South
You
Dakota
see some bias
State,
here.
they didn't. There's a great stat here. They didn't have a first down in their game against Illinois State until they were 31 nothing down, which is absolutely crazy for a behemoth of their power. But they're right on the edge. They need a lot of results to go for them. But as I mentioned, yeah, the MEAC winner takes the MEAC and they get their place in the Celebration Bowl. The other half of
SC
that
State, North
equation,
Dakota State this weekend, both 7-4. It's got to feel like it's a winner takes all
yeah,
to get that maybe that last place.
yeah, you've got to figure it does
That's one
there.
of the biggest games in the FCS, right? Say because the loser is done for.
Yeah, Absolutely, they are. And then the final one is the SWAC, the other half of the Celebration Bowl equation. The SWAC has divisions, so their division winners play one another. The SWAC West has been won by Prairie View A&M. The SWAC East is coming down to Jackson State. They can clinch with a win against Alcorn State. A loss opens up a scenario for Alabama State to steal from them, but it looks like Jackson State and Prairie View A&M are going to battle that out. They will win. They will take on the winner of the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl. So still a lot to go in HBCU football there. But I mean, in terms of football, I mean, this week college football in the FBS, there's a lot of ranked teams that are not playing, or they're playing like the SEC is playing the scrub schedule right now. The FCS is probably the place to watch your football this week. That's where all the high-profile fixtures are.
Yeah, if you want meaningful football this weekend, you're not going to find it in a lot of FBS conferences. It's going to be in the G5 FCS. Those are the games to watch this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. Sorry, I've been missing on the chat here. My market goes very cool. You looked into all that Navy law, Anthony. I love doing all the Army Navy law stuff they go into there. The helmet is very much wow. Brent DeWitt is in the building. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, the absolutely beautiful. My market goes brand new team, Rio Grande. Who? Oh God, what is their? What is their initials? It is the University.
UTRGV,
Yeah,
the
the
University
University
of
of
Rio,
Texas,
yeah.
Rio Grande Valley.
Texas Rio Grande Vaqueros.
Yeah, well, yeah, Vaqueros, but
Brand new stadium, brand new team that's come up to, like say, short to do on football, open, like say, a brand new facility, probably worth, like say, in excess of, like say, 5, 6 million figures in university, like say, brand new
yeah,
uniforms, a lot, like say.
yeah,
It, it's probably oil money. They're
yeah,
probably gonna get absolutely pile driven with money.
yeah. It's you will see that it is yeah the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros. That's the new one. We talked about them last year because I think them and Chicago State were the two new teams this year. Although I think Chicago State was pushed back a year. I don't think they're a team just yet, but they are coming. Right, that's everything FCS wise to keep an eye on. Obviously, we'll be back to that next week because Ryan will be filling in his playoff brackets to see how well he can do with that. But in terms of the FBS, not a lot has been decided in terms of conferences and who's going to championship games so far. So we're going to go through the divisions here, and there's a lot of permutations for teams who have never won titles and that before. We're going to see some new names potentially on some of these conferences this year. So just going to go through them alphabetically just to, tell you about the permutations and everything. Obviously, we'll do the week 12 reviews later, but we'll figure into this. So the American, just as tight as we were expecting the American to be this year. There are four teams still in the running to make the championship game. Those are Navy, East Carolina, North Texas, and Tulane. Navy lead the American. They are 8-2, but they are 6-1 in conference. East Carolina, North Texas, and Tulane all currently 5-1 in conference, but different records. East Carolina are 7-3, North Texas are 9-1, Tulane are 8-2. This is all done on them playing each other, etc., etc., etc. So it's in terms of tie breaking, this is the quickest to break up. So in the event of a multi-team tie with no round robin, the first tiebreaker is the college football playoff rankings for this. So if one of the three teams, East Carolina, North Texas, or Tulane, is ranked and none of the others are, they will get in there. Otherwise, they have to go to computer rankings to figure this out. North Texas and East Carolina are favored there, but I mean, we expected it to be tight. Maybe not a couple of the names in there. There are some names missing there, Ryan. But Navy, obviously, with a massive win this weekend over USF. East Carolina with a huge win over Memphis, North Texas, Tulane. I mean, what a final couple of weeks this is going to be. I still don't think you can call any team who's going there currently.
No, it's it's one of those where the teams that we were pretty certain on, like I say, have had suffered devastating losses. Like USF, I've had so much hope for them. Like I say that, yeah, the loss this past weekend is just it's killed them. It's buried their season. Like I say, and all the good work that we've done kind of unraveled. Like I say, Memphis, another team that we had pigeonholed, like I say, for making that run to the championship game late in the season, suffered its big loss. Biggest sleeper has to be the ECU Pirates. Nobody's been watching them all year or paying attention to what they've been doing. Flown totally under the radar. Caton Hauser has been a good quarterback. He's consistent most of the year. Big players like say receivers like Anthony Smith, and they've had not had a lot of attention paid to them. And I think that's worked in their favour that they were written off and kind of like say just kind of went by the wayside. And now they're making a late push to kind of snatch it all.
Trouble is, the only thing in their way is the most formidable home record in college football, not history, but certainly currently. There's just one team that never loses at home where they're going, but it's figuring out to be very exciting in the American. As for Navy, I mean, a year after Army win it, no one would predict back-to-back service wins in the American. This time 2 years ago, you thought Army and Navy had come in. They'd probably be mid-table scrappers. They might have a few wins here and there. But again, it's testament to the service academies, right, that these teams are competing at the top, and they're not just thriving with the run game. It's the pass game which is getting better as well. They're adapting to modern football, and potentially 2 years in a row, a service team wins the American.
Yeah, I think it's probably a testament to the fact that they're kind of trying to get with the times. They're trying to get away from the traditional of spearhead of like say double wing rhino heavy rush plays that it only got you so far. And if you're going to win the American, which like I say, bar the Sun Belt is by far the best G5 conference. You got to pass the ball. You got to throw
Yeah.
the ball, and your DBs have got to be able to stop the pass. And for years, like I say, Navy and Army couldn't do it. They kind of just had to physically grind their opponent down and wear it. And like I say, in the end, they'd always get caught out. But they've both
Yeah.
improved rapidly across the board at becoming more balanced football teams. And now we're seeing the reward.
We are indeed. Moving on to the ACC, and this is just as close. We've got four teams in the
Nobody
running
deserves to win
here.
in the CC. Just call it off.
Georgia Tech and Virginia lead the way, both at 6-1 in conference. Although Georgia Tech sport the slightly better record, they're 9-1. Virginia are 9-2. Pittsburgh and SMU follow, both 7-3, but both 5-1 in conference. Right, if at the beginning of this year anyone told you Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, and SMU were going to be the top four teams in the ACC this year, you'd have probably been sectioned because this was just not the group we were expecting. Maybe SMU, but a lot of people expected an SMU breakoff. But it's clear we're going to have a brand new championship game this year, potentially. Obviously Pitt and Georgia Tech play. There's probably a winner takes all this week in terms of getting in there. That's probably it. And then obviously for Virginia and SMU, you can sneak your way in. Um, but yeah, teams that we're not used to seeing just goes to show the ACC's powers have fallen and other teams are approaching in its place.
Yep. Right. The fall off of Clemson, that will have to be studied. Like I say, we're gonna have to break that down. Like I say, what exactly has gone wrong in the space of 18 months to 2 years. It's it's historical. And yeah, Miami, we all know what Miami are now, don't we? They start well, but they can't finish. They've got no guts to them. There's no bottle there. Cristobal, for me, is on a very warm seat. And then, yeah, the biggest upset for me is, like I say, I put a lot of stock into Duke. As much, well, not as much stock as they put into Darian Mensah. They put a big old wedge in him, and it's not panned out. Like I say, and Manny Diaz, I mean, he will be the one that bears the brunt of, like, say, a super expensive team that's got loads of NFL talent, because it does, not being competitive. I'm surprised the Blue Devils have not capitalized the most on a weak ACC, and I'm very frustrated by them.
Mhm.
If I had to, if anyone, like I say, I'd like to see Brent Keys and Haynes King win the ACC.
Yeah. I think one thing we can safely say, there's no at-large bid for the ACC this year, period.
No, I think you're really going to struggle.
I think the champion's not going to be a top four seed. Let's tell you that. But in terms of how and we've got the weirdest. We have the weirdest tiebreak, not the weirdest tiebreaker, but one team is going to decide this tiebreaker potentially, who you would just not expect whatsoever. So obviously, in terms of at large, I don't think anybody's really getting in there. But Pittsburgh have got to play Georgia Tech and Miami to end the year. They need Louisville to beat SMU because
Louisville, man. I
they've
mean,
all been
Louisville,
beat.
like
They,
10 days ago, were in the driving seat.
yeah,
They have
obviously,
fallen off hard.
yeah. So this is a weird one. If there is a three-way tie between Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU, it's going to be decided by their common opponent, Wake Forest. And Wake Forest have
Got a very good
beaten
year.
Virginia and SMU. Only Georgia Tech has beaten them this year. So if they all end up on a tie, Georgia Tech are going to be thanking Wake Forest for them getting in the championship game. Wake Forest are guaranteed a winning season now. I mean, that's incredible from them, but just goes to show they've all been beating one another, and every permutation is still possible there in the Americans.
I
So
joke, but I mean, that's really how it should be.
yeah,
This is kind of how a conference should be. Like, say, I mean, I implore, like, say, we're going to talk about a conference, like, say, just get rid of divisions, man. We're going to talk about a team, like, say, the G5 favourite that has steamrolled their way through their half of the division and has got, like, say, one half maybe in the playoff. Shouldn't be like that. Like I say,
no,
it should be just a total flat open field, and then
yeah.
this is the result you get.
Yeah, absolutely it is. But in terms of the biggest free for all left, it's in the conference we knew it was going to be, the Big 12. And what a cluster this is right now. There are six teams who can still make the championship game. Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Houston, Arizona State, and Cincinnati. So Texas Tech lead the way. They are 10-1. They're 7-1 in the Big 12 this year. BYU is next. They're 9-1. They're 6-1 in conference. And then you've got four 5-2 teams: Utah, Houston, Arizona State, and Cincinnati. And what is crazy is Texas Tech can still miss out this year because they don't have the tiebreaker on Arizona State, who were the only team to beat them so far this year. So Texas Tech doesn't play this weekend. They can clinch their first ever Big 12 championship appearance if
I'm presuming BYU
Colorado,
lose.
no, if Colorado beat Arizona State, because Arizona
Oh,
State
yeah,
hold the
yeah.
tiebreaker over Texas Tech, which is what's stopping them from getting in right now. So Texas Tech can get there this week, but they need Arizona State to lose. And the way Colorado are playing at the minute, I think even Ryan would bet on Arizona State winning this week, even though he's not done it any single game this season so far. Although he's looking pensive, like he's trying to find a way to justify Arizona State
No, I'll
losing.
never
But
bet on Jeff Sims.
anywho, as it says in there, it's because of all these permutations in there. So as I say, Texas Tech can clinch if Arizona State lose, or their last game is against West Virginia on November the 29th. And West Virginia have been doggers this year, apart from the last few weeks when they've looked pretty good. But yeah, if Texas Tech and BYU lose and Arizona State win, that's when the permutations. Sorry, if BYU win and Arizona State beat Texas Tech, then Arizona State jumped Texas Tech by proxy of whatever's gone on there, and then Arizona State and BYU fight for the title. But obviously, Utah, Houston, and Cincinnati, with various permutations in there, if they win out, they can still get in, but only as the second place team. Only Arizona State can finish above Texas Tech at this point. BYU, sorry. But yeah, it's a complete cluster at the minute. We're not going to know what goes on here until at least next week. And even next week, it's probably not going to be clear either. But the Big 12 is all over the place. In the Big 10, there are five teams that can get to the championship game in the Big 10: Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, USC, and Michigan. and Michigan, who don't deserve to be in this conversation at all. I'm sorry, Brent, but you watched their game against Northwestern at the weekend, but somehow they're in there. So obviously, Indiana lead the conference 11 and 0. They're 8 and 0 in conference. Ohio State are next. They're 10 and 0 and they're 7 and 0 in conference. Behind them, three 6 and 1 teams, Oregon, USC, and Michigan. So Indiana can clinch a game. If they can clinch their position in the championship game, all they need is Oregon to beat USC this week because Indiana have beaten Oregon and Oregon cannot overtake them. Um, so if Oregon wins, Indiana are in. Ohio State obviously just needs to win to get in, but in scenarios going in the other direction, even at 10 and 0, if Michigan were to win the game against Ohio State, Michigan would make the title game as long as USC don't win, because they've lost to USC this year. This is where the whole weird permutations come in. But we could still have a Michigan versus USC title game this
But if
year.
USC win this weekend, it's over for Michigan.
Yeah, should be,
Because they'd hold the
yes.
tiebreak. Yeah,
Because
they'd
they
have
because
all
they
the
hold the
tiebreakers
tiebreaker
anyway.
there. They hold the tiebreaker. So
So this
Michigan,
game, this Oregon USC game this weekend will could eliminate one and promote one. So
yeah.
that's the biggest game all season in the Big Ten.
If you're a Michigan fan, you want Oregon to win this week,
You're
and
an
you need to beat
Indiana fan.
Ohio
You
State.
want
You want Oregon to win to get
Oregon
you
to
in the
win.
championship game. If USC win, then USC can still overtake them because it's common opponents and stuff like that that it comes down to. For Ohio State, yeah, they're out if they lose to Michigan, which is crazy. I mean, that game it could be huge because both of them are banged up now. Michigan have lost all their running backs. Ohio State have lost all their wide receivers. Both productive strengths of the team's offenses have been gutted. But yeah, five teams can still make the Big Ten game, but the most likely one is going to be Ohio State, Indiana, as it is. In the CUSA, we have a four-way, well, three-way technically, but Jacksonville State lead the conference. They're 7 and 3, but they're 6 and 0 in conference. Western Kentucky are 8 and 2. They are 6 and 1 in conference. Kennesaw State and Missouri State, they're both 7 and 3. They're both 5 and 1. However, Missouri State are ineligible for the CUSA title game because it's their first year up in the big leagues. So this is basically down to Kennesaw State and Western Kentucky. Obviously, Kennesaw State have lost to Jacksonville State, so they can't finish above them. They can finish above Western Kentucky, but Western Kentucky still have to play Jacksonville State. So this is a case of if Kennesaw State can win their last game and Western Kentucky
Kennesaw State
lose to
didn't say.
Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State are in. We're going to have a Jacksonville State Kennesaw State championship game. If Kennesaw State were to lose again, then we'll have
I
Jacksonville
don't
State,
know.
Western Kentucky. The absolute antithesis of offenses. One run heavy versus one air raid. I probably will know which way got those. But Kennesaw State, Missouri State, these new FCS teams are fighting hard and they've inserted themselves in the picture and no liberty this year. Not anywhere to be seen. And some of these teams are taking advantage.
Yeah, Liberty have fallen off. They've finally been a victim of their own success. The team has just got rinsed. Draft, like I say, the portal. And yeah, Kennesaw State and Missouri State have had fantastic years. And it's going to be very interesting to see, like I say, if we do get a Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State rematch, that'd be interesting. Because, like I say, we've recently had the game where it was quite competitive. Like I say, Jacksonville State are just, yeah, they're a dominant run team. They've still got the Rich Rodriguez mentality, even though he's moved on, of ground and pound. And a lot of teams couldn't handle it. So it'd be very interesting to see, like I say, Western Kentucky, they still do what they do. They live
Yep.
by the sword, they die by the sword. And Mackay, yeah, just airs it out.
Absolutely. So we'll wait to see what happens at CUSA. I say the Big 12 was the most convoluted title picture going. I lied. The MAC is the most convoluted title picture going. We have a six-way battle for the MAC championship game at Ford Field. Western Michigan. Now they won last night, so they've made themselves up to 7 and 4. They're 6 and 1 in conference now. But behind them, we've got five teams at 4 and 2. We've got Central Michigan, who by law of whatever tiebreakers at the moment hold second spot. We've got Ohio, Toledo, Buffalo, and Miami of Ohio. And quite frankly, the permutations are so great at this point, I can't break it down for you right now. We're going to have to wait and see. But the MAC has been its usual dumpster fire self this year, Ryan. Like Toledo, Buffalo, we were expecting these teams to make the run in. Miami of Ohio. The Michigan sides have stood up this year, and I think at least the Broncos are going to be in, but it could be Broncos versus Chippewas if we get our ones right.
Yeah, it's been weird. Like I say, it's not highly competitive because it's good. It's highly competitive because, like I say, a lot of good teams have all been just been super mid. And yeah, there are teams, let's say we've just named that realistically don't belong in the way. We had Buffalo as one of the front runners, and boy, have they been disappointing. But they're still there, not by hook or crook, not because they play good football, because everyone's just beating each other and taking chunks out of each other. So yeah, at this point, there's just no way of predicting which two teams could make it.
No, no, it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, midweek action happens, so a lot will change over the next couple of days. Western Michigan last night, 3 different 100 plus yard rushes. The quarterback threw for like 32 yards and had the night of his life, winning again. So good for them. And I may have lied when I said the Big 12 might be in the top two of convoluted pictures here, because then we've got the Mountain West. 6 teams in contention for the Mountain West. And boy, oh boy, is this some underdog story for a few of these. San Diego State currently lead. They're 8-2 on the season, but they're 5-1 in conference. And then again, we've got 4-2 teams after. We've got Fresno State and New Mexico, who are both at 7-3. We've got Boise State at 6-4. We've got UNLV at 8-2. And we've got the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors at 7-3. And this is as big a cluster in there because Hawaii have the least odds to this, but they're the only ones who have a tiebreaker over San Diego State in the event that they lose because Hawaii beat them recently. Hawaii are playing UNLV this week, so the winner of that is gonna, so the loser of that is out this permutation entirely. But New Mexico, right? Hawaii, right? These are teams who we used to seeing right at the very bottom of the Mountain Kingdoms. They're looking to ascend to the top. Boise do not look themselves. They got
They've been bad.
absolutely
I'd hate
slammed.
to see them make the title game. They've been bad this year.
They got slammed. They got held to 7 points by San Diego State last weekend. But rooting for the underdogs here, New Mexico, Hawaii, we're down to the last 2 weeks. Both have a legitimate chance of making this title game. And the Mountain West, it's competitive and it's fun this year.
Yeah, like I say, props to Dan Mullen for like I say taking over a job. We questioned the hire. We questioned their ethos of let's just go get every portal player that's disappointed at an SEC school or a Power Four school. Try and make it work. In the early weeks of the season, they did not look good. That Idaho State game, Jesus, they were bad, but they won by the skin of their teeth. But since then, they have been on a tear. And those, like say, high profile names, some of them players have really started to click and shine. Like I say, they went on a serious run. And Dan Mullins, like I say, he's got them guys playing, like I say, and they do look serious threat. But yeah, Hawaii make the most of their home advantage. Like I say, it's their little fortress on their island, and they do their best stuff there. But they've also proved this season that they've never been traveling well in recent years. It always feels like any time they do have to board a plane, like it just takes some of their juice out. But they've been much more competitive this year on the road. They've got a quarterback that's settled in very nicely. A lot of talented coaches. Like I said, the future's very bright, and they picked up some good portal players that have finally starting to contribute. They're maximizing the portal now. They need to. Recent years, they've not done a good job of doing that, convincing players to come over their way. So yeah, I'm rooting for them. Like I say, you look at the two offenses and you just think UNLV Hawaii, it's going to be a 75, 80 point game. It's got to be. They kind of just they're going to tee off on each other. I don't see
Yeah.
defense.
No, absolutely not, but it's going to be fun for sure. Then we're going down to the SEC now. The SEC is on break this week because most of them are playing their scrub FCS game schedules this week, because they always have one of their non-cons near the end of the year to give the teams to rest up. But there's four teams in contention for the SEC championship game this year. We've got Tamu, one of the last three undefeated teams in the nation at 10-0. They are 7-0 in conference. Georgia are next. They are 9-1. They are 7-1 in conference. Their SEC season is done. They've just got the Georgia Tech rivalry game next week. Ole Miss are 10-1. They're 6-1 in conference. And Alabama are 8-2 and 6-1 in conference. Now this gets real simple. Tamu need to beat Texas and they are in. If they lose, then things change. Ole Miss need Texas to beat Texas A&M and they need Auburn to beat Alabama. If those two results happen and then Ole Miss are in, providing Ole Miss finish off their SEC campaign with a win this week. They are playing oh God, who are they playing again if I remember right? No, they're not playing this week. I think they're playing Miss State next week, sorry. So if they beat Miss State, they're in, but they need Texas to beat Tamu and they need Auburn to beat Alabama. Georgia are stuck right now. All Alabama need to do is beat Auburn, and then they're in the championship game because Alabama beat Georgia this year, and they will have the tiebreaker over them. But I mean, this does have the potential to be a quite good end to the year. Obviously, Texas loves spoiling things for Tamu. That's not going to be an easy one, despite the fact that Texas do look a little bit rubbish at the moment. And Texas A&M came from one of the biggest deficits in school history this week to win. They look better, but this does have a feeling like you don't think Alabama are going to lose to Auburn. This feels like it's going to be Tamu versus Alabama. I don't see the shocks happening required for anything else to happen.
Bama are a lock. Apparently, this is the first Iron Bowl that will ever be played on a Friday night. They've moved it. I think it's on a night time. And it'll be like the first time they've ever played it on this day at the time. But yeah, I've always loved the Iron Bowl, but no, it's not going to be competitive this year. Auburn would love to spoil the party, just don't think they have it in them. Like I say, I mean, Ole Miss in recent years, they've really struggled in the Egg Cup. Haven't they? Like I say, Miss State have had their number in the last decade a couple of times, and Miss State ain't good. Like I say, Ole Miss are cooked. Even if Texas pull it, like I say, pull off the opposite, which I don't think Texas will. I think they're just drained. Like I say, I think Arch just looks bewildered. Like I said, I just think they really struggle. I've got Miss State. I mean, a week earlier, Miss State are going to upset Ole Miss again. I'm just calling that now early, so it won't matter what happens for them.
Yeah.
I say Georgia. Georgia are just in a terrible position because Georgia can't do anything about it. They're just gonna have to sit back and pray for a miracle. There's nothing they can do.
Georgia's only route into the SEC championship game now is if Auburn win
Yeah.
and
Only good
Texas
thing,
A&M
only thing that
win.
only redeeming features for Georgia is that they've already got a spot in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
So
they'll still go to the playoffs.
they're still going to the playoffs anyway.
I
Right
don't.
say, I mean, Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss have got to win out, even if they don't get help to make the playoffs.
I mean, the seeding's going to be interesting
I
because
mean, every team we've just named is probably making the playoffs. Let's be honest, aren't they?
unless Ole Miss lose to Miss State,
Unless Ole
I
Miss lose
think
to
they
Miss
would be
State.
ejected for that. Even though they're a two-loss team, I think they'd be ejected.
I mean, the
But
committee would probably still have to find a way to put them in.
it's I don't know. It's very convoluted. I mean, to be fair, I don't know where you put Georgia because if Georgia beat Georgia, Georgia Tech are going to be a high seed next week potentially. So that's a big win for Georgia if Georgia wins.
Georgia beat them,
So
like I said, they'll definitely still be
they'll
a
try and rank Georgia higher than the SEC championship winner because they've lost a less game. But I don't know.
There is
This
a
is
world where all four teams in the SEC make it.
oh five because I think Oklahoma are up there now.
You
Like
go
they could,
Oklahoma, so yeah.
Oklahoma's in there as long as
Mhm.
Oklahoma don't screw up.
Maybe, well, I don't know, Vanderbilt. I don't, do they have a
Ooh,
big enough game left on a schedule?
they've got Tennessee.
Nah, that's not a quality win.
It's a ranked win.
It'd be
They
ranked,
will
but
they will have, I think, about four ranked wins at
yeah,
the time.
yeah. I would love to see Vanderbilt get 12. Or no, get 11
Yeah,
and
I'd
the
love to see
G5 get 12. I would love to see that.
I would love to see Vandy get 11 as
I don't
well.
think the committee have got the stones to do it.
No, and Tennessee are 23 at the minute. They're away at Florida this week. They've not won at Florida in some time now. That record shocked me.
No, it's
So
a
Tennessee
Florida
struggle
game. I
there.
mean, Florida
So
gave Ole Miss a lot of trouble.
If Florida beat Tennessee, then that'll end Vanderbilt's campaign because Tennessee won't be
Yeah, it's not
ranked,
quality for
period.
them. Yeah, like
So,
I say, Florida are just so unpredictable. They're just such a weird team.
yeah. Vanderbilt are hoping that a lot of the late teen seeds lose and push Tennessee up the rankings to sort of 15, 16, and then they can claim that win and go, well, okay, that's where we're at here. So, but they've not got to be upset by Kentucky first. I'm really worried about Vandy with Kentucky this week because
Yeah, because Cabo has actually looked pretty good recently.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think the SEC teams really care that much anyhow who wins it, as long as they get to the playoffs and win the damn thing. And then we finish off with the Sun Belt. Now, the Sun Belt obviously still one of the only conferences left using divisions. The East has been, let's just face it, absolutely steamrolled by James Madison. No one has lit a candle to them. Their shellacking they gave to App State at the weekend shows just how dominantly superior they are there. But the Sunbelt West is a very interesting three-way battle here. So you've got Southern Miss and Charles Huff. He's turned that team round in an instant. They are 7-3. They're 5-1 in the Sun Belt. And then afterwards, you've got my pick for the year, Arkansas State. They're at 5-5, but they're 4-2 in conference. And then you've got somehow the Troy Trojans in there who just got absolutely whomped on by Old Dominion the other day. They're 6-4. They're 4-2 in conference. Now, Southern Miss can win the West with a win over South Alabama, plus a loss to Georgia State by Troy, because I think Troy have a tiebreaker over them. Arkansas State can win if Southern Miss lose, so they require that there. But I mean, what a what a result it would be, right? I think otherwise, because we've had the Texas States and Troy's and that dominating the Sun Belt West for a while now. Southern Miss and Arkansas State, these are two teams who've not been near the top recently, so you're going to have a new contender in there. But I think at the end of the day, we can all agree whoever makes it is just cannon fodder for James Madison right now, because I think a lot of them combined, if you combine the best player of every single team in the Sun Belt West and put them together into a super group, they'd probably still get rolled.
Yeah, like you say, JMU. I mean, this is the biggest question in it. Like, it's JMU or it's the winner of the American. Like I say, and you've got to weigh up. Like I say, do you respect the American being the best conference or JMU just dominating the shit out of the Sun Belt? Who is going to get the playoff spot? Like I say, it's fascinating, isn't it? Like I say, because my heart wants JMU, but my head obviously tells me it's got to be the winner of the American because of the level of competition they face all the time.
And American teams have been ranked this year. A lot of them have been ranked. I don't think a Sun Belt
I
team's
mean,
been
at what
ranked
point
this
in
year.
well, how far down the playoff line do we get a G5 championship?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's the
Where
trouble.
Navy and JMU played each other at a neutral site, winner gets a good ranking in the playoff.
Because
I know they
obviously
don't want the extra
Navy.
game, but I mean, there's so many G5 teams for one spot, and if they're not gonna want to expand the spots, then at some point you kind of got to have a mini championship, aren't you?
Yeah, the Sun Belt teams rarely get ranked, which is a
Yeah.
shame. Like, but again, it's level of competition as well. It's not been uber competitive this year. So like there are no teams within
If you
two
look at JMU's
wins.
best win, it's not going to hold a candle, is it, to the Americans' best win?
Oh, no, no, it's not. Which is just the sad part with it. But you probably think that overall that JMU team. I mean, the Sun Belt's not easy. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There are a lot of pain in the arse teams in the Sun Belt, but
I also think they'll
again,
look down on it still being in divisions. Because
yeah,
like I say, you look at one side, if it was an open flat format, it could be a lot more competitive. You've got more
yeah.
permutations for tiebreakers.
Yeah, yeah, it can absolutely. Right, that is everything in terms of the permutations for the FBS conferences going into the last 2 weeks, and then obviously we've just done the FCS playoffs before that. So hopefully that has got you all up to date, up to speed. You know what is going on in regards to that. Now we're going to move it on because we've got a lot more stuff to go through today. And I think we're going to move it on first over to Ryan. Obviously, have you done more players for this week, or are we
Yeah,
are
I've
we
got
there?
three now. Yeah.
So last week Ryan told us about the first three players. So we've done this two-part thing on players who've caught our attention this year. who are going to be in our draft scope going forward. Doesn't have to be the next one, could be future ones as well. We got the first three last week, so I'm going to hand it over now. This is the second part. So, right, who has been catching your attention this year?
So, I mean, I'm going to make someone very happy by speaking about a golden gopher. So, my first player is John Nestor. So, I've got the cornerback DB from Minnesota, the junior, 6'1", 205, Chicago, Illinois, the former Iowa Hawkeye, he was a special teamer for 2 years. Like I say, so very little starting action, entered the portal, came over to Minnesota, and yeah, been a revelation. 38 tackles this year, three interceptions, one of them for a touchdown, and six passes defended. Like I say, the guy has been thrust into PJ Plex defense as, like I say, an outside corner, but can also play in the slot. He's incredibly physical. He's got a great build. He's big. He's strong. He's good in the run game, but he's got a lot of versatility. He's built like a safety, like I say. And I think as the draft comes forward, I think his future lies at safety. And for me, when I watch him, I think he's much better playing, seeing all the field and coming downhill, which he does very well. Takes great angles. He's a firm tackler, wraps up very well. Like I say, he's good in coverage. He's got good hand-eye coordination. He's a I think he'll test pretty well as well. Like I say, he's a good bit of swivel. He's not the fastest in a straight line. Like I say, I think the broad jump, the explosion, the bottom, he'll do very well. I think if he does decide to return next year, I probably move him to safety next to Koi Peric. I think you move him further back if you bring in some guy to go as cornerback, but he offers a lot of versatility. Like I say, he's very comfortable working between zones. He's got the size and the strength and the physicality to play in man. But I think he's had a very good year. Like I say, he's become one of the best, better DBs in the Big Ten this year than one of the newcomers. Like I say, I think Iowa definitely missed a trick, not giving him a real chance to crack their rotation. But their loss is Minnesota's gain. They've had a good year this year for me, the Golden Gophers. In their big games, like I say, they've been found wanting. But as a collective unit across the Big Ten, they've done very well. And this guy is one of the big reasons that their defense has done very well. And he's going to probably finish the season pretty strong. So I hope he comes on. And he'll have a big decision to make, coming off a big year. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. Definitely a
Yeah.
name I'm watching for Detroit. A physical tackler that could maybe move to safety. Like I said, I think a Big Ten kind of guy. We like those guys. It's someone to watch there. So my second guy is this guy's definitely coming to draft. So I've got the 6th-year senior linebacker from South Florida. It's Mac Harris. So 6'1", 235, local Florida kid, the Villages. And yeah, this year, I mean, yes, he had five pretty good years. And last year, like I say, he had a nice year, couple of sacks, like say 40, 50 tackles. This year, he's just gone to another level. So yeah, 90 tackles, six sacks, three forced fumbles, an interception, and defensive touchdown this year. He's taken his game to another level. He is the Byron Brown of the defense. Like I said, Alex Golesh had a tremendous year. He's led them to be one of the best G5 teams in the country, and they've got some big high profile wins this year. And this guy is really bringing the juice off the edge. He is one of those guys that it's even when it's obvious they're blitzing him. Like I say, he's that smaller, more compact muscle. He's very good. He's agile, but he's strong. But this year's proved that he can be a really good finisher as well. He's getting in the backfield. He's bringing the quarterback down, or he's at least chasing him out. He's bringing the pressures. He's moving him out. And then very comfortable he's not the biggest linebacker. Like I say, three forced fumbles. He's got a great nose for the ball. He's good in the box. He tackles well. Like I say, he's good. He's using his helmet, he's using his fists, he's looking for the ball to try and make plays. And he's probably like I say, they've got another guy, like I say, they got Jazia, but this guy is probably the most well-rounded guy that's made a big step up this year on that Bulls defense. Be interesting to see what he does, like say if he does get an invite to the combine. But he's the kind of guy I definitely need to see at the Senior Bowl. Big 6th-year guy, got a lot of snaps, a lot of tackles, a lot of mileage on the clock, but someone that's well coachable. Kind of guy you want to see there, like saying that could make a big name, like say down the UDFA or the special teams route at the next level, but could be filling in as a rotational package guy in the NFL. So it'd be interesting to see what he does do this year, and like say how his post and pre-draft cycle goes.
Isn't he the
Uh,
one who's got like 7 forced fumbles this year, Matt Carris? Like it's just stupid, isn't it? Like his
yeah,
ability to turn over.
their defense, like I said, I've lost track of how many turnovers that defense has generated. Crazy
Yeah.
amount for the Bulls this year. They've thrived in that section.
Yeah, him and Jalen Shuler, just one of the best linebacker
Yeah.
pairings
I
going,
would
aren't they?
love Shula, like I say, but I thought this he gets a lot of love because he's like 6'3", 6'4". The guy is a big physical presence. This guy, like I say, is a bit more diminutive. I like that about him. And my last guy, like I say, is last guy is Bo Sparks. So this guy is the slot receiver out of Texas State, junior. Only 5'11", 175, 180. That could be generous. Small guy, local guy, El Paso, Texas. This year, he's just gone wild. 67 catches for 988 yards and 7 touchdowns already. He's got the fourth most receiving yards in the country right now. This is a team that's got a losing record. Like I say, they have really struggled this year. Like I say, under Kinney, they've struggled to meet their really high bar. They've set the expectations they have every year. They've fallen out way off this year. But this guy has had a tremendous year. Like I say, working primarily out the slot. He's very rapid. Like I say, he's got good twitchy feet. He's got sticky hands. He's caught everything that's come his way. He's got 14.7 yards per reception this year. He's averaging a first down every time he catches the ball. And he's one of those kind of guys that, I mean, you just don't want to play him like, say, Cooper Kupp in the open field. He's got that kind of build. Like I say, he's a nightmare to try and bring down. Everything happens when you get the ball, get him in free space, and then it's kind of like, say, panic stations to try and bring him down. Very elusive, a good route tree. He's physical too, like I say, at the point of contact. He doesn't shy away, even though he's weighing a buck 70. And also has got now previous punt return experience in recent 2 years. So special teams does not fear it at all. Got a couple of 100 yards, got some returns right now. He's an explosive weapon. He's very dynamic on their offense, and he's the kind of go-to guy. He's been carrying them all year. He's been one of the more prominent names in the country. I think that small bit of, like say, elusiveness, speed, good hands, doesn't drop a lot of passes, and like I say, special teams, which will probably be his path to the next level. Like I say, I think he's had such a good year for him. He should probably speak about getting some draft grades. Like I said, the size and the weight, he's kind of built like Tutu Atwell was. Like I say, he's made a good name for himself now in the NFL. So there are routes for these smaller guys. I think special teams and returning will be the way he gets there. But yeah, someone that I'd expect this year to a lot of guys that you might get mini camp invites, like I say, those kind of guys you bring in for a workout if you're doing your return. And so yeah, I think this might be the year he might consider declaring, or like I say, entering the portal, take his talent somewhere else. But yeah, one of the best receivers in the nation this year.
That's it. Me and you would never traditionally cared about, regularity in terms of what people look for. If you're a good player, you're a good player, and you'll find a way to get that there. So that is the second part there. So just remind everyone the three there, right, just so they can have
So
a
I've
look
got
up for
the
them.
defensive back from Minnesota, John Nestor. I've got the linebacker Mac Harris from South Florida, and the wide receiver Bo Sparks from Texas State.
There you go. So more names to keep an eye out on for draft circles this year or maybe next as well. And I have also been doing a little bit of digging. I'm going to start my own two-parter now. So Ryan has been looking at guys coming up potentially to the draft in the near future. I have been looking through group of 5 players who are just beginning to shine, obviously year in, year out. There's a lot of these teams, in the American and the Sun Belt in the Mountain West. They create some absolutely talented players, and then they're gone. But they are going to be the future stars of tomorrow at Power 4 programs, or maybe they will have a full and lively career at the team they're at, and they will come to the draft and they will make waves as a player from the group of 5. It is entirely possible. And so I've been digging down to try and find a few names who you need to familiarize yourself with now, because they're either going to be at a much bigger team soon or they will come to a draft circle near you out of the group of 5. And the list I went through is absolutely huge. I'm going to give you my first 3 this week, and then I will probably do a few more next week. But let me tell you, there are some really exciting prospects coming through the group of 5 this year, specifically younger guys who have been playing as true freshmen or are making the most of first year starters there. Um, so 2 of the players I've got are from the same team, so we are going to dive straight down into that first. So the first 2 of the guys I've got to watch from the group of five this year, we're going to be visiting Florida International, a team that I've had a fondness for over the years. Don't tell me why, but now under Willie Simmons, 5-5 this year, but it's been a hotbed of talent, not necessarily finishing their career at Florida International. They've not had anyone drafted in a few years now, but they have been exporting a lot of talent out to the Power Four in recent years, specifically from the defensive back room. When you're looking at draft prospects, when you're looking at how players are coached and everything, looking at the tree they come from and looking at the coaching circle they come from is important in the evaluation of it. And when you think about the Florida International DB room in recent years, they sent Hezekiah Massas to Cal this year. Hezekiah Massas is probably the best ball hawking corner in the entirety of college football right now. Certainly, he's leading pretty much every stat chart available. They sent JoJo Evans, the safety, to Louisville this year. He is one of the best run defending safeties in college football, certainly in the power leagues right now. And this year, coming to the draft, we are going to see Brian Blades come to the draft. Yes, Benny Blades'
Nephew.
bloodline is coming to. Yeah, Benny Blades' nephew will be coming to the draft this year, and he is going to get drafted. I've been watching him for years now. He is an incredibly impressive young man. He is going to get drafted unless he decides to have a fifth year. I doubt he will. But this isn't about him. This isn't about the other two. This is about two new young emerging superstars they've got in this lineup, specifically their defensive backs, Josiah McGraw and Mr. Clark. Josiah McGraw is the one we start with here. He has been a star as a true freshman at safety this year for the Panthers in what has been a tough year for them. He is 6'2", 185 pounds. This is a young man who has started on this Panthers team since day one, showcasing some hella good versatility for the team. His predominant home has been at free safety. He's played about 320 of his 600 plus snaps there, but he has serious snaps in the box and in the slot as well. They kind of use him as one of the old school star linebackers that play a bit of safety and a bit of linebacker, but he has been a turnover machine. He has 4 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles on the year with a further 4 pass breakups. He's only given up 62% on targets against him. That's low for a safety. He's racked up 60 tackles on the year. The young man's only been penalized once all season as well. He's disciplined. He even has a kick block on special teams as well. He's been working his way through special teams. He's been in the team. He's been here, there, and everywhere. He has done just about everything for the Panthers this year. Now he's got some of the usual freshman issues. The run defense is not there yet. He's like a 17, 18-year-old. It will come in time when he bulks up a little bit more. And the missed tackle rate is a little high. It's 20% on the year, but again, going to come down the older he gets. But this guy, he is hard hitting. He is instinctive. He has all the traits that you're looking for when you're looking for a potential star coming out the system. And again, you're coming from an FIU system which has been sending DBs to the Power Four, and they have been thriving. He just needs the right development there. FIU are going to have a huge battle to keep him on their hands this year because there are going to be a lot of power teams looking at this young man who's played 1 year of his career and has already achieved so much already. But he is very exciting. He's going to end up at a big program one day, and if he carries on the way he's going to, you are going to hear his name high in draft circles one day. So that's the safety Josiah McGraw out of Florida International. And then you've got the corner, Mr. Clark, and his name is actually Mr. So he is Mr. So his dad must be an old star rock fan. Everyone knows the band Mr. But anywho, Mr. Clark is another new starter on the FIU defense, but he's had to wait till season 3 to get his break into the team. He is a redshirt sophomore this year, but boy howdy has he taken his chance with this side. He is 6 foot, 185 pounds, and this man is the epitome of a ball hawk. He's racked up 3 interceptions and 8 pass breakups this season in one where he's really been a trial by fire. You'll look at his stats and say, oh, he's been burned a lot this year. He's been aimed at a lot this year. But yeah, it's his first year as a starter. He's been put through the rack a little, but yeah, 3 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. He's got 54 tackles and 20 run stops on the year. And the thing I love about him so much, the resilience of him. He doesn't always have a good game. I was watching the Liberty game the other day. Ethan Vasco and Liberty were ripping him a new one. He was like 5 of 5 against him for like 70 yards. They kind of had his number on the day, but he was able to shake it off, and the game went to overtime. Florida International got a touchdown. Liberty were driving to try and even this thing up when Vasco launches one into the end zone, and Mr. Clark just from out of nowhere pops up, picks him off in the end zone, kneels it down. It's a huge game-winning play for the Panthers, puts them within one game of being bowl eligible this year, which would be big under the first year of Willie over there. But, even on days when he's not having his best day, he can come up with a big play like that and shake off what has been a comparatively poor game before him there. But he's another, he's a lot more solid against the run. Obviously, he's been there a few years. He's worked his way in through special teams. He's a very good special teamer as well. But when you look at this line of corners that have come out of there, Hezekiah Massers, you got Bennett, you got Brian Blades coming out of there. Mr. Clark looks like he's going to be the next one out this system. I mean, for a team that doesn't do very well, right? You think they sent Jordan Guerra to Louisville. He's going to get drafted this year. I mean, you wouldn't bet against an FIU DB right now, even if he doesn't end up there.
No, like I say, they've got a good production line right now of FIU. Like I say, great players that are coming through their program and like I say, going on to do good things. And like I say, whether that's at the draft level or they're giving them a platform to do well and then also then go on to find their way at future programs, especially at the top level. So it's great to see how they're doing it. So yeah, like I say, the bloodline Blades comes from. It's just going to be fascinating to see it. Like I say, it's just going to drum up a lot of hype because, like I say, you've had Al, you've had Benny, you've had HB Blades. Like it's a long old line of Blades that have played pro football. Like I say, one just came out of Duke or Miami a couple of years ago, went to the NFL. Like yeah, like I say, it's great to see. Like I say, I've got a lot of respect for, like I say, FIU and FAU, those schools down there, producing a lot of pipeline players. The SEC, because they're big programs. Like I say, they do things the right way. So yeah, be interesting to see what these guys do going forward.
Hmm. And Bennett and Brian stayed loyal to that program. He probably should have gone to a bigger one, and he stayed at FIU his entire career, but he is coming there. But yeah, Josiah McGraw and Mr. Clark, names at FIU you need to keep a very close eye on, especially when the portal hits if they move. The third guy I've got, another really exciting one. And like Ryan, my eye is all on USF, and specifically Jeremiah Koga, their new
Receiver, yeah,
sensation
I looked at him.
at wide receiver. Yeah, I absolutely love this kid. He is a true freshman this year. He's 6'3", 209 pounds. He is their ex-receiver of the future. He is basically Keyshawn Singleton's replacement when Keyshawn Singleton comes to the draft this year. And you know how much I love Keyshawn Singleton as an ex-receiver, a combative type who's good in the air, good with the contested catches. Keyshawn Singleton is as good as they come. But Jeremiah Koga is threatening to be a hell of a lot better. He didn't play in the first 4 games. He was just on special teams, did some work there. But Singleton's has a couple of knocks this year. The wide receiving corps had some injuries. He got his chance in the 5th game against Charlotte, and he's played in every game since. And in 5 of those 6 games, he's only been below 75 receiving yards just once. He went for 75 yards and a touchdown against Charlotte, 94-2 against North Texas, 90-1 against Florida Atlantic, 78-1 against Memphis, and most recently in that heartbreaking defeat to Navy, he had his first 100-yard career game, 112 yards and a touchdown. He's got touchdowns in all but one of his starts so far. He's 28 of 36, catching nearly 78% of his passes. He is an outside receiver, playing 93% of his snaps there. Good yak master after the catch. Only one drop on 36 targets so far. This man's got really good. He's This young man's got really good hands. When the ball's thrown in his direction, he gets it. In contested catches, he's 4 of 6. This year, they're starting to ease him into it a bit more. But again, like Keyshawn Singleton, when that ball is hoiked up to him and he's got to go up against the DB to get it, he is there doing so. And it's his size. He uses his size so well. When he comes up against smaller DBs, he intimidates them. He knocks them around. He's very physical at the line of scrimmage and will make them feel uncomfortable. But he's deceptively quick for his size as well. Like he can beat people, with the foot movement is really good. The release packages are really good, but he's got this underrated speed which can just get him a yard or two that he needs to get into the position he needs to make a play on the DB. I say he's great against man coverage for such a young guy as well. He's again mentioned he's got incredibly good hands, doesn't really drop a thing whatsoever, and like I say, his yards after the catch ability is good as well because of the footwork and that speed. He's getting there as a blocker. Obviously, he's a young true freshman at the minute, so you're not going to see his best blocking work just yet. But you've seen a few examples of it, and there's no doubt as he bulks out a bit, as he gets more experience, as he gets older, he's going to be a great blocker as well. So for me, he is going to be at USF not much longer. Might see him another season there, right? But he's got the build, he's got the skills. You've obviously seen him this year as well. Like this young man screams future star for somebody and a future star X wide receiver in the NFL potentially.
Yeah, like I say, Byron Brown is really making the most of his talents this year. Like I say, his first thought is always like, how can I get out? How can I do something with my legs? But he's got a guy he trusts now. Like I say, he's a young man, but he's well built, he's physical. Like I say, he's quite intimidating to look at for a young man. Like I say, a lot of DBs, the smaller, skinny ones, will fear him, giving them big cushions. That's kind of just playing into his hands. Because you give him, like I say, the ball with a big head of steam. Like I say, he's got plenty of room to grow. I expect him to put on 10, 15 pounds going forward in the years, and that'll make him a pretty strong physical asset to bring down. Great asset, like say. I mean, I look at him, think like say, future Gator or Seminole. Like say, if he does kick off, like say, and he does do really well, like say next year, like say the NIL, the money will then start to flow, and he will have those big in-state options here. Like I say, but if they can stay competitive and in the playoff picture, like I say, they may keep his talents a little longer.
They may very well do indeed. So that is the first little look there into some of these guys at the group of five levels. As I say, I've got a page full of these guys who I need to look at in a bit more detail, but there is a lot of talent coming through. So as I mentioned, the Florida International defensive back. So you've got the safety, Josiah McGraw, the young true freshman. You've got Mr. Clark, the cornerback, the redshirt sophomore. And then you've got the true freshman wide receiver at USF, Jeremiah Koga. Those are three names you're going to see on a much bigger stage. So get used to them early before everybody else does. And as I say, next week we will continue with that one. Right, we need to move this on
Bit
because
of breaking news.
go on.
Florida have announced that they are meeting with John Sumrall about their upcoming head coach vacancy.
Oh,
And
wow.
Florida fans, you know those normal fans that don't overreact, they are losing their minds because they just
Over.
Billy Napier 2.0.
I mean, John Sumrall's another group of five coach
Yeah.
with no
Heavily linked to the
SEC.
Auburn job because he's got links to that area of the country. But yeah, Florida fans, oof, they are not happy. They are panicking.
Let's have a quick look while we're on air. So we don't get to do breaking news very often, but obviously what a lot of people don't like in the SEC, they don't like people who don't have SEC experience. Now, he does not very much. So he was Ole Miss linebackers coach in 2018, and then he was at Kentucky between 2019 and 2021. He was the inside linebackers coach. Then he was a co-defensive coordinator, but he is not coordinated at SEC level fully and he's certainly not head coached at SEC level fully. And that seems to be the issue, doesn't it? SEC fans don't like hires from outside the conference who are not used to it. But I mean, Summerall's bitten his teeth down in Louisiana for the most part. I mean, it's again in America, in British terms, it's not too far. In American terms, it's miles away. But you can't deny the ability, like his modus operandum is his defense. Like that Troy defense is one of the best group of five defenses you will ever see, period, in your life. The amount of talent he did there. Florida have always had a problem on defense for the most part, and with a lot of talent on there, they've not really developed it properly. Defensive head coach feels the right way to go, and he's always been a winner. So, I don't know.
And I don't see the problem. For me, I've said so many times, like you say, that there's a handful of G5 guys that are going to get big jobs. Florida don't take him. I reckon if Kenny Dillingham won't leave VSU, John Sumrall is the front runner for the Auburn job. He knows the area of the country. Like I say, and he could go and do great things there. Like I say, he's got a 14-11 record and he's 17-7 in the American. He's a winner. And he's only in his mid to late 40s. Like I say, he is, and the whole, oh, it's Billy Napier. Don't compare it to Billy Napier. That's not fair. Like I say, just because a former G5 coaches with great records doesn't mean he's also going to come in and just completely flat to deceive. I mean, I think Sumrall would be a great hire. But yeah, it's the usual, like I say, they're just hoping they're doing due diligence, but they probably are. I'd expect Florida to go in the right direction, but Florida are putting all their eggs in the Lane Kiffin basket.
Oh,
And I don't
yeah.
think it's going to happen.
I think you'll see a lot more people like like interviewed first. I don't think it's just going to be they're going to interview him and then that's it. Like,
Yeah.
surely not.
I think they want Lane, and if they can't have Lane, well, yeah, then they'll probably interview 15 guys to try fill the void of no Kiffin.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be the way that it goes. But you
I
need.
think Sumrall's leaving, and I think he's getting a Power 4 job.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I think this
so.
is the time to leave.
Hmm. I mean, I guess you want to see how Tulane finish off the year, but for the most part, he
Yeah,
doesn't really have that much
he's
to
he's
prove.
done he's done enough work to warrant a Power 4 job.
Yeah, he's on the
I
up
would
and up.
like to see him with the young weapons in Auburn.
Hmm. I would as well. So yeah,
Florida, they'd break him. The fans would be mean to him. He deserves better than that. Don't throw
see.
him into that poison chalice.
No, you could understand Florida being a bit iffy having a group of five coach again, but what they're going to do, just like, you know, recycle Hugh Freeze or something like that'd be even worse. So I think you've got to keep banging at the group of five. If you do it right, look at Indiana. They got it right with Signetti. Signetti, good program, consistently belting talent out. Think of how many Troy players went to the draft under some role from the group of five level, and Tulane, it's been no different. He churns out NFL draft caliber players in the group of five. What the hell's he going to do with all the five stars at Florida? Like, he could do a great job there. So, yeah, we will see. But Summerall being interviewed by Florida, we will keep a very close eye on that. Right, we're going to move into the Week 12 recap now. It's been going a while, and we've not even started on that yet. And a little bit of a quieter week by reflection, but I've started this new thing where I do 1 point for every game now. So when we talk about every game, I've got 1 point in there that we can talk about. So we don't just go through them all. But of course, we're going to stick with the high profile ones as well. And there were some big upsets this week. And, as we always do on this pod, the name it gets into the title we're going to talk about first. And this week we talk about the Sooner debacle, the play on Kalen DeBoer's name, and the Sooners, obviously the Oklahoma Sooners. No one of us really had an eye on this game in terms of an upset, but the number 11 Oklahoma Sooners playing against Alabama, the new reforged Alabama, who looked completely unbeatable since that upset against Florida State to open the year. But Alabama were in for a shock, meeting one of the best defenses in the country in Oklahoma. Now, we've got no doubt for a long time this Oklahoma defense is one of the best units in the nation, but is it enough to carry its team over the line against a quality opponent like Alabama on the road, where Alabama was 16 unbeaten in their own stadium? Not many teams go there and do it. Well, as it turns out, the answer's yes. The Oklahoma defense may be putting out the best defensive performance of the season from any team given this circumstance. It ended Oklahoma 23, Alabama 21, and 17 of those Oklahoma 23 points came off turnovers. This Oklahoma defense went absolutely nuts. The Oklahoma starting offensive position in this game, they started their own drives on average from their own 46-yard line. They had five tackles for a loss on the day, four sacks, one interception that was a pick six, a forced fumble that was turned off. They won the turnover margin by two. And despite the fact that Alabama put down 500 yards of offense compared to Oklahoma's just 240, Oklahoma's defense was just incredible. Eli Bowen had an 87-yard pick six. Kip Lewis had two sacks on the day. And Alabama, who had been playing really good football up till this point, went quiet, and the turnovers were big killers for them. Ty Simpson usually quite accurate on there. Oklahoma were all over him like a rash. 13 pressures on the day, as I say, four sacks. You had another from Taylor Vine, the edge player. You had one from Devon Jordan, the corner. They were bringing up corner blitzers. They were great in coverage. Start off this right, Oklahoma. One of the defensive performances of the season, their line stopped Alabama really from doing too much in the run game. Just 102 yards on the ground, forcing it all onto Ty Simpson's shoulders and then going to work on him. What a performance from them.
Yeah, like I say, it's the ultimate bend, don't break. Gave up 400 yards of offense, lost the ball for 9 more minutes, gave up nearly 25 more plays. But when they needed to, the defense came up clutch in the red zone, the negative plays and the turnovers. And in the end, they gave John Mattia a pretty straightforward day. He just had to do enough and protect the ball, which he did do. And their defense hammered off. Like I said, there was a lot of stat padding and kind of like say shelled yards. Like say Ty Simpson had a good game, but the completion percentage wasn't there. The run game wasn't good. And the receivers were struggling to get free. He was going with Josh Cuevas, his tight end. It was one of his more safety blankets, one of the more guys. But no, a lot of guys just were not getting open. I know Oklahoma did a great job of, like I say, just stemming the flow, stemming the bleed, give up yards. But when it got down to, like I say, the 20s, they really buckled up. And then, yeah, the defense, like I say, made the Crimson Tide pay in the end.
Isn't, considering how good it's been this year, you don't hear anything about Oklahoma defensive prospects or anything for the draft. I know it is a bit of a younger group, but it doesn't, when you talk about Texas, you could probably list off half their starters right away because of how they're talked about all the time, but it's not the case with Oklahoma, but they've just quietly gone under the radar of one of the best units in the entirety of college football. I think they were ranked third coming into this. But if I check now, when it comes to total defense and that, they are right up there. Obviously, it's taken a little bit of time. Matias obviously come in and settled down the offense a bit, although they didn't really need to do too much on offense on this one. They just made use of good field position and sort of in there. They're 11th in total defense right now. One of the best units in the country. It's a phenomenal turnaround. It's not been the year quite that they wanted. They are 8-2. They're 4-2 in the SEC. It is a big positive step forward. They didn't do anything in the SEC last year, but you got to credit a quick turnaround here. This is a huge win, and against an Alabama team that was on fire.
Yeah, like you say, Ty Simpson was probably yeah, he might have been the top highest prospect, like say the highest ranked QB in the country going in this game. And like I say, he was pretty pedestrian. One, two, he usually does better with a steady number of, like say, passing attempts, but they put a lot of onus on him this week because the run game just really didn't take much pressure off him. He wasn't overly accurate. He was hurried a lot. Like I say, he had a lot of guys in his face in his passing lane. So Oklahoma did a great job of stepping up and, like I say, keeping him uncomfortable all day. And like I say, this now is that's the big win the Sooners resume needed. Like I say, I think Oklahoma's still got a great chance of making the playoffs. Like I said, finish the season strong now. You've got this Bama win against, like I say, a very resurgent team. Ole Miss could slip up against Miss State, and you're looking at, like I say, the Sooners maybe then taking their place in the playoffs. So they've set themselves up for a great season to finish. But I agree with you. we were thinking about the OC, the new offensive coordinator, and John Mattia, like I say, coming in. But yeah, a lot of their plaudits this year have to go to their defense.
Yeah, it's just been absolutely incredible so far, keeping them in these games. And obviously, when Mattia's been hurt, it's been keeping them in. And not many teams have been able to get the best of them. They've obviously got the win over Michigan and that. So you started off the season well. They're trending in the right direction if they can keep this group together. And Mattia's probably going to stay another year of SEC football for him. I mean, they're threatening to be good going forward. Bama, it's again, it's a pain in the neck, but they've got the win over Georgia. They can still get to where they want to. So ultimately, it's not really going to harm their season as much. But for Oklahoma, this has put them up into playoff contention. They'd have been dead and buried if they'd have lost this. So we're going to see what they can do potentially if they get that. I mean, I don't know. Could they win a playoff game? I don't feel like they could, depending on who they came up against. But I'm not so sure I could see them winning one right now.
Like I say, it would depend all entirely on how favorable the matchup was. Kind of feels like could they beat one of the upper echelon Big Ten teams? Like, say if you got like Oregon, Oklahoma. I mean, I think it'd be fairly competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Uh,
interesting. Yeah.
so I think if it happened, I think they've updated it. So if the theoretical one happened now, Oklahoma would be on the road to Notre Dame. Feels
That,
like it might
yeah.
be a step too
Yeah.
far.
That's when they'd have to rely on that defense.
Oh, sorry, hang on. They'd be at home to Notre Dame. They're the higher seed. My bad. They'd be in Norman against Notre Dame, but yeah,
That
I
would
mean
be
that
a
would
big
still
that'd be
be.
a big defensive tussle to slow down, like say the run game.
Jeremiah Love's on a Heisman-esque season right now.
Yeah,
He's
like I
he's,
said,
he's rediscovered
it'd be
that.
very interesting that D line, like I say, trying to contain him.
Yeah, I think it would be very tough for them. But, on their day they could. They would go on and face Ohio State after that. Obviously, this is all theoretical right now, but I don't know. They could be right on the precipice. The other theoretical ones, Texas Tech will be at home to Tulane. Yeah, that'd be one. You'd have Oregon, Alabama, and Ole Miss, Miami, Florida, who would sneak in there. They've been put back up the rankings again, but yeah, for Oklahoma, it's an absolutely tremendous win for them. For Alabama, as I say, it doesn't really matter. They are going to go forward, but it was one of the biggest shocks of the weekend. However, not as shocking as what happened in this next one. And there are three undefeated teams left in the country, and we were oh so nearly left with two. I was at work for the first half of this one on Saturday, and when I came out of work and was coming home, deciding what am I going to watch this week, when I saw the score, South Carolina 30. Texas A&M 3 at halftime, I stopped my car. I was like, what the hell's going on here? This is not the one that Texas A&M are going to lose. We've been pondering for some time, are they going to be the ones who like when are they going to screw it up? It felt like they would kind of do it against Texas, not against South Carolina. Not against the South Carolina team that's done absolutely nothing this year, and I know because they're 1-7 in it, or they're 1-6 in SEC play. They were 3-6 before this game started, but they absolutely came out and marmalized them in the first half. They were picking off Marcel Reed. They were scoring time after time after time. And you're down 30-3 at the half, and you're thinking, okay, this is where battered Aggie syndrome rears its ugly head for these Aggies fans once more. They're going to be put in a really tough situation going into next week as far as making the SEC title game. But then what unfolded was and this is literally the biggest comeback in school history. Previously from this, it was a 21-point rally back in the Johnny Manziel days when they won the Chick-fil-A Bowl in 2013 against Duke. They were 21 points down in this game. They were 27 points down in this game against South Carolina. And just for the record, teams in the SEC, when trailing by 27 points since 2004, were a combined record of 0 and 286. It just doesn't happen. When you're 27 points down in SEC game, you don't win. Period. Texas A&M found a way. 28 unanswered points in the second half of this game. South Carolina's offense apparently didn't come back out at all. Marcel Reed, who had an awful first half, bounces back in the biggest fashion possible that he threw for nearly 440 yards and three touchdowns. And everybody on this team, Casey Concepcion, Bethel Roman, stops on defense, it just all comes together. It culminates in one of the greatest comebacks you are ever going to see from anybody. This game should have been dead and buried. Texas A&M should have been dead and buried, Ryan. And what a job Mike Elko has done at Tamu. They have been known for years and years and years as perennial chokers. Like when they get the slightest hint of a little bit of success there, battered Aggie syndrome exists for a reason. Because just as soon as they think something good's going on in their life, they get hit down and put back to square one again. And we've seen a cavalcade of 5 stars, of great quarterbacks, of all these people come and go, and things never change for them. And at half, you're thinking 30 to 3 down. Oh boy, this is the same old Aggies team, except it wasn't. We've witnessed the true spine of this team now. It's got a good young core. It's got a great head coach who has just done marvels with this team. I mean, we will never see the likes of that come back again, unlikely. And just what an absolutely fantastic spectacle it was from two teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where if you're Texas A&M fan, you just got to be relieved and take the positives. Like I say, a pretty disastrous first half. But whatever Mike Elko said, or shouted, or cursed, or swore, like he got through to them. Because in the second half, they came out, like you say, a different animal. They knew that everything was on the line. Like I say, everything to play for. Like I said, life would have been much harder with a loss. And they came out, they were dominant. Like say, suddenly, like say, the O-line looked like say they'd not just met each other at a bar, giving Reed time, like say 200-yard receivers. A lot of late now in the season towards the playoffs, Concepcion getting a lot of national attention now as a guy that is definitely a name to watch in the draft. Like I say, he's had a good season up until now. It's been strong, but I think this might have been the breakout game. Like I say, he was unguardable in the second half, and everything just went right. And then on the flip side, like I mean, what I don't know where to start with what went wrong for the Gamecocks and how difficult, like say, Beamer's position is now. Like say, after blowing such a historic lead in what a game that they should have won in a season that they should have been so competitive in, it kind of just sums up a whole season of struggle and like say, going missing for large parts of the game. But yeah, it's Marcel Reed is a very I think he's an interesting prospect. Like you say, he's good dual threat. Like I say, he makes plays with his legs, but he's also strong through the air when he needs to be. So I like him. He's the best of both worlds. But yeah, I think Tamu, yeah, dodged a bullet, but they did show that when their backs against the wall, they proved that they can then suddenly find a new gear. And yeah, and the more I see Cassius Howell, the more I'm thinking first round Lions draft pick. Like I said, he would bring the juice. Like I said, the guy in recent weeks has been unplayable. Even like I say, his middling build, he's ferocious.
He's at 12 sacks on the season now. He's had sacks in 6 of his last 7 games. Like you said, just in terms of how he's doing, he's on an absolute tear right now. I know he's 6'2", 248. This is kind of the Aziruaku problem I had last year. Love Aziruaku, and he's undersized, and the Lions don't take a sniff at guys like that, which is a shame. But I'm with you. He had a big sack in this game as well that obviously turns this round. But I mean, you've got to credit the coach, right? Like, for some reason, it's just never worked for Tamu before, despite all the prospects and that. This just always seems to have been this specter around them. But Mike Elko goes to Duke. He turns Duke into a very reputable program. Obviously, and this is the good hire for them. He was a defensive coordinator formerly at Tamu. It's his alma mater, I believe, as well. So he knows the place very well. Loves it probably as much as DC does. Like this very much seems it was a very smart coaching hire and it's paying off because I think having that Tamu blood in his veins is kind of doing what Dan's done to Detroit. Like he understands all the past disappointments and that they've had there and he can put it away and across, which can inspire people better than someone who's not been in that building before.
Yeah. I mean, there's only a handful of guys that can go into a locker room at the half that is staring an embarrassing defeat in the face when, like you say, they've been the front runner in the SEC all the time, and then, like you say, get through to them, kick them up the arse, but not like say go on a tirade and like say piss them off, like say just to fire them up, like say make them understand that you need 2 quarters of the best football they've got all year if they're going to win the SEC, and like say get that potential number one pick in the playoffs and have that home field advantage. So yeah, he did it the right way, and yeah, he's a guy that people just get behind, and he always has been. Like I say, I've liked him at all the programs he's been there. And yeah, for me, like you say, you got him and you got Dan Lanning, two of the coaches in the country that I'd want to play for if I was given the option. People's
Oh,
people.
he was, he was. We did see some of the bright sparks for South Carolina. Like Dylan Stewart had a hell of an imposing first half. He just imposed his will on that Tamu offensive line, which has been pretty decent this year. And Harbour,
Yeah,
I
Harbour
might
in
be I
recent
might be on
years,
my
yeah,
own here, but
he's
I think
improving in recent weeks. Harbour, I'm showing. I get it. He
yeah,
lacks consistency, but I see the potential.
he busted out
I
that
just
big 80-yard touchdown run, which was like showed him and what he's like.
terrifies me as a draft pick, but he's the kind of guy like say everyone says like yeah, he could be the next DK Metcalf and could be the next unstoppable force.
See, I hate athletes more than anything. Even I like him. I think like I'm booking a trend here to go after guys in his, but I just see something there that Nicholas Harbour's going to be an absolute
Yeah.
star.
He
Whether he does it
he's
at
by
South
far the most
Carolina,
interesting player in the draft. He
yeah,
could go 20th overall. He could fall away to 150 because people like worry about his work ethic and production.
yeah. I would like to see him stay for one more year. I don't want to see him in next year's draft period. I would like him to stay one more year and polish up, but I
Yeah, I
think he
like him
has
to.
that
I mean,
polish.
if Sellers is staying, I'd like him to go somewhere else. That will. I just don't. I don't think Sellers is the guy to get the best out of his attributes.
No,
I
no,
need. I
I
need
would
a
agree with you.
proper signal call at arm strength.
Yes, you do indeed. I think I would be the same. You just need to change you need to change something up there. It's not quite right. Obviously, this has been I they might have a new head coach next year.
Yeah,
South
like you say, yeah,
Carolina.
you could make a case to say he's a goner beamer.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not looking good for them, but for Tamu, I mean, I look at this team, we talk about Oklahoma, how far can Tamu go? I mean, for me, I think the resilience they're showing could get them through to potentially a semi.
Yeah,
I think on their day, they can beat pretty much anyone. I guess it depends what side of the draw that you get as well. But I think if they face an SEC team, they've shown they can do with the SEC teams this year. I guess it's what happens when they play an Ohio State or someone like that, where you'd be a bit more concerned about them. But I could fancy them winning a couple of playoff games this year.
yeah. Like you say, and they've shown that they can get it done both ways. Like I say, they've shipped 40 to Notre Dame, they shipped 40 to Arkansas, shipped 30 to Carolina. They can outscore you on any given day. Or then they can go the flip side, like say, held Missouri to 17 with like the best running back in the country, held LSU to 25, hold Miss State to 9, hold Auburn with all them weapons to 10. They can win any given way they want on the road or at home. Like I say, if they need to score points, they'll score them. If they don't have to, they won't.
No. They will not indeed. So yeah, Tamu, well done. One of the best comebacks you will ever see, and they are legit for real this year. There was another big one in terms of potential ramifications for the SEC championship game this week. Number 10, Texas, heading to number 5, Georgia. We wondered would they be able to pull off the upset there, and contrary to what Lisa told me saying that I wanted Texas to win, I said I wanted Texas to win this game so that we could have a Texas Tamu shootout in the last week. Not because I thought they could win, but because I would prefer that more than anything. But when we talked about Georgia, Texas last week, Ryan did pick Texas. I picked Georgia because I said they're going to absolutely stymie any form of a run game that Texas are going to muster up, and they're going to tee off on Arch and kill him. And that's pretty much what happened. 35 to 10, Georgia win. Texas have 39 rushing yards, and then after sacks, I think it went down to like 21 or something like that in a game which was actually belying the scoreline very close for over 3 quarters. This was level going into the fourth quarter, and I actually thought Texas acquitted themselves pretty well. They took the lead through field goal from Shipley from 33 yards out. Then Georgia took the lead well, I'll say not two quick touchdowns, but 2 touchdowns from Noah Thomas, who's starting to make a name for himself in that receiver core of Georgia's. But yeah, 2 touchdown passes from Gunnar Stockton as they started to lever some pressure onto this Texas side. And that's how it would be at the half, 14 to 3. But Texas dug inside for something after the half. And in the third quarter, they managed to bring it back to 14-10. Arch Manning, he found Ryan Wingo. It's a quiet season by his standards, but it was a great throw and a catch to bring it within just 4. Um, and going into the fourth quarter, a 4-point game. But right after that touchdown, Georgia put together a 6-minute drive. It goes 10 plays, 73 yards. It is a really good drive from them. And Gunnar Stockton finds Landon Humphreys this time from 30 yards out, just as the fourth quarter starts, to make it a 21 to 10 game. And then Kirby gets really aggressive at this point. They surprise Texas with a squib kick, which they're not expecting, the onside, and Georgia recover. Texas just didn't see it coming whatsoever, and it's probably one of the easiest catches you will ever see from a squib. And they made them pay. They went straight down the other end. They put together another nearly 6-minute drive. This time Stockton to Luke Lucky to put them 18 up, and then the fists just came off. Gunnar Stockton had a rushing touchdown to finish this one, and 35-10. I mean, Texas didn't play very well, right? It still feels a bit disingenuous of a scoreline. I don't think it was that easy, but obviously Georgia eventually able to wear them down. The long drives took their toll. Texas's offense weren't able to stay on the field, and a ballsy call from Kirby to go for that onside kick, which pays off. But sometimes it's those little bit of risks that make it all worth it. They absolutely had to win this game to get into the SEC championship game, and they stuck the clamps on Texas in the end and won quite convincingly.
Yeah. And it's just one of those where it felt like Texas, they ran out of steam. And I think most part of it is probably, like I say, I mean, Georgia's run game wasn't anything to write home about. You're not going to remember that rushing performance from Georgia, but when you think about Texas has been anemic all year running the ball. For every person that wants to shit on Arch Manning, there has to be 2 people that also has to realise he's been doing it on his own. The kid has been hung out to dry because Quintravion Wisner, like I say, he is not a lead back. He never will be. Like I say, he will never take the workload that can protect him. And like I say, asking Archman to, like I say, throw against Georgia 43 times, it's a recipe for disaster. One, you're gonna lose the possession battle, time of clock, most definitely. Like I say, and then also it's gonna lead to turnovers. In the end, like I say, Georgia wore them down. And yeah, you still got to respect Kirby Smart as, like I say, genius. Like I said, I love the squib kick call. Like I say, Texas caught napping. Like I say, because, well, I mean, they've just scored. Like I say, and you think about, like I say, it's not they've got a good lead. You wouldn't really expect it. Like I say, it's not like it's a 3-point game at that point. They've got a reasonable lead. You don't even think they go for it. So yeah, they caught them cold, and I think at the moment they completed that. And I know Kirby Smart is going for the jugular. He's ending this game there and then now. Like I say, he's a stone cold killer, and that's the kind of call you love. That's the kind of call, Steve. The other way around, I don't think Sarkisian makes, because I think he plays way too safe at times. Like I said, I don't. He's not that kind of guy. Yeah, I'm gonna Stockton on the day. I mean, perfect. 24 of 29 for 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I've probably got to hold my hands up and say, like, say that I didn't rate him for at start of season. I didn't think, like, say, he fell in that mold or the line of recent Georgia quarterbacks. Consider me proven wrong. He's been very good this year. He's built great partnerships with like Lawson Lucky, like I say, and Oscar Delp. The tight ends in Georgia are always massive. And like I say, not many guys have utilised them better. But yeah, it's been a great performance. In the end, yeah, it's a scoreline that doesn't really reflect how close the game was. But in the end, it also epitomizes just how serious Georgia were about this in the end. But like I say, they were going to leave no stone unturned. They were never going to leave this one a chance.
I tell you what, Delp's run blocking's been going viral, hasn't it? Like some of the blocks he makes. Like I know we always used to think of him as the receiving guy, and they've kind of knuckled him down a bit there. And like there's a lot. I've seen Lions fans who want him. Like if they're not going to pay Laporta, like there's Lions fans who want to get Delp in. But there's two players on that defense who I absolutely want here, who we're never going to get. Kristen Miller's the first. As a nose, does he not just scream the next great nose tackle in the NFL? Like you can't run at him. Like in this game, he destroyed the offensive line in terms of pass protection. Like he was forcing Manning into a lot of hurried throws. Like he screams the next great NFL nose tackle, and by the week he just looks better and better.
Yeah, like I say, it's been a conveyor belt of interior defensive tackles from Georgia for a long time. And he's the next guy that's just gonna step up and fill that void of you look at him and think he's too athletic to be a nose tackle. Like the long gone are the days of nose tackles being big and fat and just swallow you up. Like say, you look at these guys now built like Adonises. Like I say, they're just terrifying.
He's 3'10. He's 6'4". He's a little to like they're built to go after the quarterback as well, and
Yeah.
like nobody
Long
does
gone
it
are the days
better.
of like say them being 6'1" and like say 340, 350, just blob.
Yeah, yeah, just blobs.
Not the style.
And the other one, and there's no way in hell we're gonna get him. I mean, he can't come to the draft next year, but KJ Bolden, like again, you talk about screaming next big things at the next level. Like for
Yeah.
safety, he's next level IQ. He has been. He's stepped on that team since he was a recruit. I know he was a high 5-star recruit, but he took that job day one. He's never going to give it back, and he's going to walk into a round one NFL draft pick when he's done.
Yeah. Caleb Downs and KJ Bolden. I've never seen two men so young playing such a hard position just be so composed. Like saying two potential, like say you're talking two draft 10, top 10 draft picks in their class, playing the one of the most difficult position in football right now. Because like I say, it's so heavily scrutinized, you can't do anything without being penalized. But these two, like I say, play it the cleanest way they can. Like I say, they force turnovers as well. Like I say, yeah, I love both of them. Like I say, right now the line's set safety, but contracts are coming up. And yeah, there's no way we could get KJ Bolden in a year or two, but yeah, you can dream.
Oh yeah, you can certainly dream. I love the kid. I have done ever since
Texas,
he
I
arrived.
mean, yeah, the season's over. 7-3 doesn't sound bad, but on paper, it's just not good, is it? The
No, I
man
mean
beats.
the defense did what it could. I mean, Colin Simmons seems to have found his form again. Like
Yeah,
after a slow start
found
to
it
the year,
late in the
he's
season, but
back.
yeah, he's a one-man wrecking crew. He's doing what he can.
Yeah, he's back there. But I mean, I've never seen that secondary be so easily taken apart before. You know, like you've got Taft back there. You've got some really good secondary players back there. Um, and he just absolutely filleted them. Like I've never seen Texas's secondary gutted apart. Like I'm with you, I did the Gunnar Stockton thing where it's like, okay, maybe there is a lot of apologies to be had here. Like he's settled in now. Yeah, I haven't seen the Texas defense picked apart by a passer that well in so long. Taft was just he couldn't get close to anything. And Michael Taft's probably one of the best safeties going. Like you've sung his praises enough, and he just had nothing. It's
No,
crazy, crazy.
that's it. And yeah, I once, what does Arch Manning do? Do you just tuck your tail between your legs and enter the portal?
Interesting because obviously Dear Bell arrives. this semester.
Yeah,
Their next, I mean, I guess Diabell's the successor to Arch, but at the same point, Arch is going to need 2 more years. You've got to have at least two starting years to come to the draft. He'll need one more, but I reckon he might need two more
yeah,
the way he's going. And do Texas hold off on Diabell, or I don't think they'd want to start him as a true freshman, but certainly in 12 months' time, you'd be questioning whether he'd stay on anymore or not. So,
yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in that room.
and there's no playoffs. Texas ain't making the playoffs now. Their playoff hopes snuffed. They can do whatever they like. They could beat Tamu next week. I still don't think you should let them in. I mean, I guess they could sneak through and say they've beaten the number 3 team in the nation, but I wouldn't give it them. So they'll play in a bowl game and they will be done. Anywho, yeah, Georgia put away. Georgia looked very dominant. Obviously, probably not going to be in the SEC title game, but they'll be in the playoffs, and you will not want to play them at all. The other big upset that happened this week, and we've alluded to it already when talking about the conference scales, Navy on the back of getting their hides tanned by Notre Dame last week and on a two-game skid going through one of the toughest schedules really that any team has to deal with. Still got to play North Texas, etc. Coming up against the USF Bulls at home, ranked 24. USF had everything in their hands at this point. They were 4-1 in the American. They were 6-3 overall, and they were the overwhelming favorites to go to the playoffs. And they lost 41-38, the midshipmen winning. What is an absolutely tremendous game. Both teams, on both sides of the ball, playmakers on offense were just absolutely fine. Eli Heidenreich, as a service receiver, he's going to an all-star game. I'm very, very intrigued as to what happens with him now. We've never seen a service receiver like this before. I'm pretty sure he broke the Navy all-time receiving record, which is not much to say, but he's not really been there that long. But Blake Horvath, the quarterback, 8 of 15 for 139 and a touchdown. Alex Texa, the new star there at running back, had 124 yards and a touchdown. Braxton Woodson had 104 carries, two touchdowns. Heidenreich had 146 through the air. But then on South Florida's side, Byron Brown threw for 330. He had 140 on the ground and two rushing touchdowns as well. Koga had his first 100-yard game. I mean, this was a delightful game of offensive football, right? But Navy built out a very big lead. They were up 27-18 at one point. South Florida mounted a big comeback, especially in the fourth quarter towards the end, but it was ultimately a little too late. They got a touchdown with a minute 55 to go, but couldn't recover the squib kick, and Navy were able to kneel it out. But this was a very impressive game from Navy, specifically after two big losses to North Texas and then to Notre Dame. You're thinking, well, that's it. Season's over. American's probably over. They've got to play USF now. I think they end with Memphis or something like that. And for them to come out the way they did, throwing and running, they kind of just laid the first punch in at USF, and USF took a long time to recover from that. And by the time they did, it was a little too late.
Yeah, I'm with you. South Florida, you think about all their wins this year, they start fast. How many times have they scored a touchdown and then their defense has got on the ball straight away or scored a defensive touchdown? And there've been multiple scores up on opponents and they've just kind of like I said dominated. Like I said, they've made the force their will early. Like I say, Navy in the first half. The first half for me was where the game was won. Navy got their game plan early. Like I say, there was yardage for Byron Brown, but just 9 points at the half. It didn't have a lot of substance to it. Like I say, they did struggle, like I say, to come out the blocks early or any urgency. And the midshipmen found, like I say, their footing very quickly. By the time they got to the half, like I say, very confident, had a good lead that they helped build on. And then they knew, like I say, their good, strong defense that they kind of had a platform and a lead to defend in the second half. And like I say, Florida tried late, they huffed and they puffed, but in the end, they were two behind too quickly. Like I say, and they kind of were just always chasing their own tail. But yeah, South Florida season, I suppose it ends. It's over. Like I say, they'll finish with a great record, and like I say, Alex Golesh may get a promotion. like I say, but ultimately they will kind of be forgotten about. Because like I say, now they can't win the American, but Navy for them, like I say, they're now driving seat, playoffs. Like I say, one of the best dynamic quarterbacks in the country, potential head coach of the year. Like, yeah, it could be one of the best seasons in Navy football history. This one was like I say, just yeah, 1,070 yards of offense. It was just a joy to watch.
Even Brent in the chat said he was chanting "Go Navy" at one point, but I guess if it's not your service team, you go for a service team. But as you mentioned, nearly 600 yards for USF, 530 for Navy, going at each other hammer and tongs. And you're right, it's that USF defense which usually forces a lot of turnovers and brings the game there. One turnover all game, just one fumble from Navy, and that's been Navy's sort of hold back. Like when they played Notre Dame last year, I think
Seven fumbles.
they'd fumbled once all season, and then against Notre Dame they fumbled like 5 times or something like that. They've turnovers in big games hold them back. In this big game, just one turnover, you win the turnover battle +1. That's what happens when you don't turn it over all the time. A lot more disciplined with the ball from them, and it takes a big weapon away for USF when the defense can't get those turnovers.
No, like I say, Navy just controlled what they did. Yeah, ball security was on point this week in a big game. And yeah, like I say, they executed an offense very well. Like I say, you never see a Bulls defense look that vulnerable. But yeah, like I say, there was a game plan there to beat them, and now other teams try to replicate it. But yeah, Navy now put themselves on, like I say, a pedestal. And like I say, they've set themselves up. Now it's just they just have to hold their nerve now. They've done the hard work. This was the win, the signature win. And now it's all just about, yeah, not getting carried away, just handle the business, and everything else will then look after itself.
Yeah, absolutely it will. It's in Navy's hands now. They just need to win out. Obviously, you still got the game against Army to come. This could be a big season for them. Win the Army game, win the American. Who knows? But yeah, it's disappointing as hell for USF. Golesh will probably leave and he will never win an American, which
Yeah,
is a
Byron
shame.
Brown will leave, like I say. I mean, yeah, there's no way he's not entering the draft.
No, and his ceiling in the draft is now the question because he's just such a dangerous dual threat quarterback. And for me, he's very composed when it comes to passing. I mean, you could potentially, if he tests well, the combine does well, he shows the injury histories
Yeah,
behind
I
him. Because
think
obviously
he'll
he's had the
test
big
well.
injury. I mean, it could push him into day two, potentially, sort of that Dylan Gabriel-esque territory where someone's going to go to maybe just, or at the very worst, the start of day three.
Yeah, like I say, rounds 4, 5, stash him, build on him. He's experienced. He's older. Like I say, he's played a lot of games. Like I say, he's got a lot of traits you like. Yeah, he could surprise a lot of people and be someone's backup quarterback next year.
Hopefully, he'll get a good invite to a good
Yeah,
All-Star game,
I,
Shrine Bowl
yeah.
as a
He's kind
minimum.
of played like he needs to land in the right team.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like someone like probably you'd think Baltimore right
Yeah,
away would
you
probably
look at him
love
straight
him.
away and think like Snoop Huntley, Lamar
Mm,
Jackson, Kyler
mm,
Murray at the
mm.
Cardinals. I think I'd love to watch him in the Cardinals because they got some weapons.
They probably use him as a running back as well. They got
Like I
DeMarcado,
say, for
who's
me, like it
tiny.
lands in Detroit, worst possible place for him because we
Yeah,
couldn't get out at Hendon Hooker.
no,
We
no.
we can't help Byron Brown.
No, absolutely, we could not. But yeah, big win for Navy there. And the other big upset I kind of had down here, I'll say it's a big upset. Louisville's season was ended by Clemson, and again, teams that will be wondering what could have been. Louisville had it all before them this year, right? It was there to be had.
I
The
called
top
this one, but I
powers in
didn't
the
really think
AC.
it was going to happen. I just thought it'd be funny.
The top powers in the ACC are down, and it was their chance to be able to, but they couldn't. And like Clemson are just playing spoiler for teams now that they can't really do that much. I mean, Adam Randall had his first good day in forever, but Miller Moss was a bit meh. Um, Colin Lacey threw the only touchdown pass for Louisville on this one, but I mean, they were competitive for long periods. They were ahead for most of this game. They took the lead at the end of the third quarter, but their offense just died in the fourth. Is that Clemson? The Clemson defense has finally woken up, I think, is the main thing here. Um, and it was a fourth and goal at the Louisville one that won it. Clemson went brave. Adam Randall got the rushing touchdown there from them. It was hotly contested as to whether he broke the plane or not. But they decided that he did. And the Clemson defense we expected to start this year and carry them towards a natty came to the fore. But it's way too late for Clemson now. But they've spoiled Louisville's season if it makes them feel any better.
Yeah, let's go. Special teams. Louisville missed two field goals that probably would have won the game. Like I say, they had Clemson banged to rights, like I say, field goal range twice, and ultimately they came up trumps only 2 out of 4 times. So yeah, for me, Clemson made life hard for them, and like I said, they were super staunch. But yeah, I'm with you. Louisville beat themselves, and like I say, their season ended because like I say, they weren't efficient enough. And those big moments on those big downs, they let themselves down. Like I say, Clemson in the end, yeah, they just did enough. Randall, like I say, had a great game. Like I say, he was the offense on the day.
Yeah, yeah, he was indeed. Right, going through the rest of the slate, and as mentioned, because we just kind of hover over a lot of these results, I want to do this new thing where we do what was called 1 point per game. So for every game, I've got at least 1 point down that we can mention something about, so everybody gets a little bit of love. And it obviously starts off with the midweek match and stuff. Kent State beat Akron in overtime, 42 to 35. They play for the wagon wheel. It is the first victory for Kent State of that in 3 years. But a much improved team this year who couldn't win a MAC game for love nor money, potentially going to finish with a winning record this year. A hell of a comeback there from the Golden Flashes. Western Michigan beat Ohio 17 to 13. Obviously, the first game that had happened since the passing of their former player Marshawn Nealand. There was a big tribute for him, which was absolutely wonderful. And as part of that for him, they took sole lead of the MAC as a result of that win. So a result, obviously, he would have loved as well. Central Michigan beat Buffalo 38 to 19. Absolutely pile drived them, and good result for Central Michigan. They are now bowl eligible for the first time in 4 years, and this result caused the five-way MAC tie for second. Buffalo could have gone a long way to get into the title game with this, but absolutely outmatched. Northern Illinois beat UMass 45 to 3. UMass go viral, Ryan, setting off fireworks after they score a field goal to go down 45 to 3. But the shocking stats that we saw in our own Discord, we've got a Mac writer in the Discord, and we know a lot here, but UMass this year losing games by an average of 27 points per game. They lost by 28 again last night, but their Bill Connolly SP Plus rating. So for those who don't know, Bill Connolly's SP Plus rating, a series of metrics to tell you how good a team potentially is, and you can do matchups against other teams to tell you how they would get on against other sides. That is the base explanation of it. But UMass's SP Plus rating rise so bad that they had predicted losses to 14 Division 2 teams, and they had a loss to a Division 3 team. That is how bad this UMass side is this year, that the power ratings have them potentially losing to Division 3 teams. It has not been a good first year back in the MAC for UMass.
Nope. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, and they've just. The disappointing thing is, like I say, just looking unprepared most of the time, just like I say, being easily swept aside, and it's very disappointing to see, like I say, because a team that, like I say, we mentioned, like I say, look like Akron, they've actually made progress this year, and those two, like I say, two of the worst teams in the country last year, they're taking a step in the right direction, but they're leaving them, unfortunately, in their dust behind them. And you look at that program and think, I don't know, it's broken. I don't know what, who, how do they do it? Like I
Yeah.
say, are they right for the FBS?
Yeah.
Is this the level they should be playing at, and they should be putting so much money into playing at this level? Yeah, there's a lot of questionable decisions.
There is indeed, but I will say kudos to all the kids who still go and watch them, and kudos to all those who celebrated when the fireworks went off when they were 45-3 down. That is my kind of support there. Just Ride or die. Toledo beat Miami of Ohio 24-3. Got that one really wrong. That is the lowest number of points that Miami have scored in a regular season MAC game since October the 10th, 2015. Just over 10 years ago, they choose to lay an egg there. I had them beating Toledo. What do I know? Old Dominion shut out Troy 33 to nothing. This is Old Dominion's first seven-win season since 2016. That was only their second ever FBS shutout, and they tallied 9 sacks in the game, which is a new Old Dominion single game record. I mean, if not for James Madison knocking around in that half of the Sun Belt, right? I mean, Ricky Rana's done one of the best coaching jobs in football. This Old Dominion team continue to get better and better.
Yeah, like I say, he's a great coach. He's built a great team. I mean, the sad thing is, it doesn't feel like Colton Joseph is going to be there long. He's
No.
that impressive as just a true sophomore. The blood's in the water. The sharks are swimming. Yeah, he's destined for bigger and better things to test himself. But right now, ODU are in a fantastic place, and hopefully they find their next succession plan behind him.
Hopefully they do indeed. Next up, mile marker. I hope you're listening.
Oh, never mind.
Minnesota.
Pete Nakos, the meeting on the books has been called off. John Sumrall to Florida.
Oh, do you
It's
reckon
been
they've seen the
cancelled now.
fan
It was there,
backlash?
but it's been cancelled within half an hour.
You reckon they've seen the fan
I think
backlash and
John's
gone,
seen all the
maybe not.
quote tweets and thought, nah,
Nah, screw
can't do
this.
it.
I'm staying at Tulane. Yes, mile marker. I hope you're listening. Minnesota 13, Oregon 42. Now, Ryan, I'm going to give you one guess as to what's wrong with this Minnesota team this year, and I'm going to read out some stats for you. So Minnesota are 6-4 on the season right now. Minnesota at home are 6-0 this year. Minnesota on the road are 0-4 with a cumulative score of 152 to 33. What's wrong with this Minnesota team this year, Ryan?
Getting on buses, packing bags, I mean, everything.
For every 1 point Minnesota score on the road, they give up five. I mean, that's just incredible to me. There's some sort of force field around the state of Minnesota that every time the Golden Gophers fly over the border, their talent checks its bags at the at border control. I mean, that's just incredible for me. It's such a differentiation. Like they're getting their ass handed to them every single time they leave Minnesota. At home, doesn't matter. All comers, you send anybody there, they will beat them.
It's
It
got to
is
be
weird, but
that's got to be
it's
coaching, right? It's got to be mentality, hasn't it?
yeah, it's astounding. If Minnesota played their entire season at home, they'd win the Big Ten,
It's
is
not
what
like
we're
Minnesota
learning here.
fans won't travel to away games as well.
No,
So
and the
they
way
must
they're
go
set
forward.
up, they like to be a run first team, so that generally lends itself well to being away from home when you run the ball a bit more. Oh, Darius Taylor was back from injury in this, but I mean, they've just been completely and utterly outmatched everywhere they've been. It's one of the weirdest stats out there. Like you never like sometimes teams are good at home and bad away, but never such a 152 to 33 away from home, and yet you're 6-0 at home. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, you can say it's a building team, but you've got to get that away form fixed. You're going to have more away games than home games next year. Something's got to change there. But yeah, the Gophers were just thoroughly outmatched in this, and Oregon had their way with them. But as you can tell, it's a travel problem for the Gophers. Wisconsin 7, Indiana 31, staying in the Big Ten. Indiana Rye 11-0 for the first time in school history. It has never happened before. Mendoza, he broke Curtis Rourke's 1-year-old school record with his 30th touchdown pass of the season. They've just hit on back-to-back transfer QBs. As for Wisconsin, interesting one for them. Carter Smith, their new quarterback, the first true freshman quarterback to start a game for Wisconsin since Jay Macias in 1991. A bucking of the trend there, but there's no denying what Signetti's done at Indiana. They have never done this before. They've never gone 11-0. I don't think they've been to a Big Ten title game, at least not in recent history. And he's just landed with Curtis Rourke and Mendoza. He seems to find the right type of QB he needs, the right type of fit. Yeah, they're just killing everything right now.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, yep. I think Wisconsin as well. I think they think they found their guy. Yeah, and I mean, I give credit to them when they said we're not firing Luke Fickle, they weren't lying. He's not getting fired. Like I say, he will start next season as the head coach. They they are committed to the cause, even if I think that's a disaster. Like I say, I give him credit. But yeah, Indiana. Yep, he's hit on two QBs. One's leading into, like say, historic score records. Like say, they're going to go into the playoffs with a huge amount of momentum. And like say, he's pretty much nearly nailed on to be the first QB drafted next year at some point in the position. Got to do it again. Can he hit on a third quarterback? Isn't it? Yeah, is it his little brother?
Alberto.
He's the backup, isn't it?
He is.
Whether or not he get the guy, but like I say, if you're a quarterback in the portal next year, I think I'd like to go to Indiana.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I
They'll, they'll,
mean,
they will be attractive. I think they'll get a bigger name than his brother Alberto. Yeah, so then yeah, they could be on to yeah. But right now they're set up to be a program in it for the long haul with the extension. It's not just going to be a
mm,
short-winded little. It's not going to be a fleeting high. The Hoosiers have proved that now.
I mean, potentially, someone who used to play in the Big Ten, who you know pretty well, who's probably going to be finding himself a new team soon because he's been injured. Maybe Sam Levitt goes home.
Yeah, like I say, he's definitely entering the portal. Like I
Yeah,
say, yeah, he it will give him a platform if he can get to a Big Ten title race to be a first round draft pick.
can indeed. As for this Indiana defense, it's just amazing. Elijah Hardy is the name you need to know. The redshirt sophomore linebacker. 7 sacks this year for him now, 6 QB hits. He's got a forced fumble. He's got a missed tackle rate of just 7%. He's been an absolute breakout this year. 5'11", 229, kind of plays off the edge a little bit. I just see his name every single time they play. But yeah, Elijah Hardy absolutely slaying it there. Notre Dame, massive road win against Pittsburgh, 37-15. Notre Dame's defense only gave up 219 yards to an offense averaging 426 yards this year. And Notre Dame, there's some names emerging on there, right? The little known safety, the true freshman, is it Toe Johnson, Tay Johnson? Another pick for him. And then obviously Jeremiah Love having his breakout season, his Heisman campaign. He won't get it, but Pittsburgh probably didn't deserve to be ranked, and this showed why. Unfortunately for the young true freshman, they got on him early, they pick sixed him early, and that kind of just sapped his confidence. And that's kind of where Pitt are at now. They're young, they're getting better, but they ain't on ND's level, not even close yet.
No, like I say, that there's just worlds apart. Like I say, great love. Like I say, Malachi Fields, didn't he have like an
Yeah,
insane catch?
yeah. Again,
Yeah, he's looking like a real potential, like I say, special player for him. So yeah, like I say, yeah, they keep rolling. I mean, CJ Carr has been,
he's meh.
yeah, he's been mad. The numbers look very good. Like I say, I'm yet to rave about him. But like I say, true freshman. Like I say, but the freshman season for him, it's been very good. I'll give him
Mhm.
his dues. Like I say, he's protected the ball very well.
Yep, indeed he has. Staying in the Big Ten again. Number 18, Michigan 24, Northwestern 22. Michigan turned over 5 times in this game, and they somehow still managed to win it. They relied on Dominic Zavada to nail a 50-odd yard field goal to spare their blushers, and they look terrible. And they are a fraud force one team. However, there is a nice little stat here for Michigan fans. Andrew Marsh, Nick Marsh's younger brother, 189 receiving yards for him. That is the most by a Michigan freshman since 1979. So he broke a big record there. He is also the first Michigan freshman with multiple 100-yard games since Roy Roundtree in 2009. The younger brother of Nick is having himself one hell of a season with the Wolverines. And I know they're always going to keep quoting that they're young and they're developing, etc. But oh no, this one told me more about Northwestern than it did about Michigan. Northwestern are starting to come back to where they were before. They're starting to be a nuisance again. There is a semblance of a good team in there. Their defense was absolutely awesome. As I say, 5 turnovers on the day for them. And Michigan have the 6-1 record in there, but I don't think they're close yet. Northwestern probably should have won this in the end, but it was a good game.
Yeah, like I say, Michigan, weird team feels like, doesn't it? Like I say, their record is good. They've had a great year. Bryce he's got the job done. Like I say, he's not always the prettiest. Like I say, it's been a up and down season, but another one that you see the flashes of talent. Like I say, and you just think right now it should hopefully come together. As long as you don't look at the numbers, which aren't flattering at all, you just look at the record and what he's doing, then fair enough. But yeah, they paid a heavy price, didn't they? Their run game now insanely depleted. And like I say, they still want to make the playoffs.
Yeah. They got the game next week, so it remains to be seen. But they did sneak it out, and as I say, Andrew Marsh breaking records for the team. Arizona 30, ranked Cincinnati at 25,
Glad I
24.
called that one. The Wildcats are dangerous.
You did, and this was a poignant week for one Wildcat. Noah Fafita throws a franchise record 68th career touchdown pass for Arizona. That broke the joint record held by Nick Foles and Willie Tuitama. And the Wildcats defense this year, it's held 8 teams to sub 200 pass yards. That's the most since 2009. But Fafita's been an interesting one, right? We've watched his entire career there. Obviously, the early breakout when he had the big spells against Arizona
Slump.
State and looked like he was going to be the next big thing. Then the slump, and you wondered whether he was going to leave because you had the whole Jaden DeLauer thing. But now he seems to have come back to a bit of prominence again. And he's in the record books for Arizona now, their most prolific ever thrower in terms of touchdowns. And he is a good quarterback and he has been a good college QB, but it's been a ride.
Yeah, like I said, he's dangerous on his day. The Wildcats I mean, yeah, they're a dangerous team right now. Because, like I say, they're that team that can't make the title game, but they can spoil anyone's plunder. Like saying, yeah, Territorial Cup coming up soon. Like I say, they've got some great players right now. They kind of just put a huge dagger in Cincinnati season, and they've got the opportunity to, yeah, put another couple more in right now. So someone like saying right now you don't want to play. And yeah, no for Vita. Probably time, like say, that he declares, and yeah, he will be an interesting kind of guy to prosper and break down.
Yeah, he will indeed. Staying in the Big 12, Kansas State 14-6 winners at Stillwater over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State turned the ball over 5 times. Every Kansas State point came from a turnover, although it was just 2 touchdowns for them. On OK State's side, a blast from the past for them. They've got a new member in their Ring of Honor. Justin Blackman won the Beletnikov in 2010 and 2011, came to the NFL with a lot of hype, went number 5 overall, and the rest is history, Ryan. It's not been much to celebrate for OK State this year, but certainly as a college player, Justin Blackman deserves that record of going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely deplorable season. Like I said, that it's going to shape the franchise for a long time. Pretty miserable. I mean, I think it tells you how bad K-State are. 5 turnovers, and they just could not put them away for love nor money. They still hung around like a bad smell. And yeah, it's sad to see Cowboys football in the position it is because they're a huge program with such a big fan base and like I say, historics, mascot, and the players sent to the NFL. Football is better when they're better. Yeah, I hope they have a big turnaround. Like I say, whoever takes that job on permanently next has got a huge task.
Mm, they do indeed. UConn beat Air Force 26-16. UConn end the season unbeaten at home. Over the last 2 years, They're 12-1 at home. And Cam Edwards, who was on my team to watch this year, he's their first 1,000 yard rusher since 2019. He's got 2,481 career rush yards. He's eighth all time for UConn with a game to go. He can break the top five potentially, but Mora, he's made UConn unbeatable at home, right? They play an odd schedule, but they play enough good teams in there. They play a lot of ACC teams in there. And he's turned them into a place where UConn, you could go and count on a victory once upon a time, where you go there now and you're lucky to escape with a decent defeat now.
Yeah, like saying he's taken these players, like say these are some cast-offs, like say he's made Skylar Bell one of the best receivers in the country. Like saying, then you've got a quarterback that unfortunately threw his first interception of the entire year.
Mm.
Like I say, but yeah, he's taken an FCS quarterback that no one will have wanted to know after 4 years, like say a journeyman, an old man. And like I say, he's come up and been absolute revelation as Joe Fagnano. Like I say, right now, he's the guy on everyone's lips. Like I say, a 7 year veteran that should have no right playing in the NFL. I mean, yeah, he's the kind of guy that could easily walk onto a team and be QB3 next
And
year.
and there's enough UConn players making it to the NFL right
Yeah,
now,
there's
so you
plenty of
wouldn't put
guys
it
that are
past
gonna,
him.
like say, get drafted or find their way onto rosters next year from this current team right now.
And there are players on this to watch list next week from UConn. There's a lot more
UConn as well,
talent
they
coming
shouldn't
through that
struggle to
system.
replace the QB because Jim Mora, it's great offensive football, a historic mind, one of the best coaches of the modern era, a guy you
I'd
want to
be
play for.
I'd be scouring the FCS again, trying to
Yeah,
find one of
I
their best
reckon, like say,
passers.
he goes and gets another FCS guy. He knows the level like the back of his hand.
Yeah, you should do indeed. UTSA won on the road 28-7 against Charlotte. That was UTSA's first conference road win in 2 years. But the other flip of this stat will shock you later on. Eastern Michigan 24-9 winners over Ball State. This, Ryan, was Chris Creighton's 200th win as a head coach. He is one of just four active head coaches with 200 wins. And although the last couple of years have maybe not gone the way he wanted, he went to Eastern Michigan, which was a dead program, widely considered to be one of the hardest places to win all of college football. And kind of whatever happens with it, as a bare minimum, he's made them a middling to good team, and 200 wins is testament to his career. He's done it a lot at the lower levels. He's had to do it at the hard jobs. Like some of the ones he's had there to get to 200 wins is a hell of an achievement for him.
Yeah, like you say, it's a historic number. And I know recent seasons and years have not been kind to him, but the body of work there is still fantastic. Like you say, you still got to stick by him. You still got to think, yeah, it's going to come good again. It usually comes around in circles for him. Like I say, he deserves a bit of time. He's bought himself that at the very least.
He has indeed. LSU snuck by Arkansas 23-22 at home. Interesting one here. First time in Tiger Stadium history that an all SEC game there featured teams who both had interim head coaches. Obviously, Arkansas and LSU both fired their head coaches. It's never happened before. And the first LSU win for Michael Van Buren, right, on debut. It's going to be the future there when Nussmeier's done.
Yeah, like you say, bending him now. Like I said, there's no point going back to Nuss. You just got to look at 2026 when he's gone. Like I say, and this is an audition for the staff to stay on this roster. It's an audition for Van Buren to win the job, like I say, because there's a highly linked name with a highly linked potential transfer QB that could come to LSU. Like saying there could be a battle on his hands, so he's trying to win the job now. But like I say, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see the direction they want to go in. But yeah, great position for him. Like I say, very good performance from Van Buren, a guy that's
Yes.
bided his time. Like I say, he is the next guy.
Yeah, he is indeed. Tulsa smacked Oregon State 31-14. The only stat I had for this is Oregon State are dead, completely dead as a
It's a
team.
program, like I say, yeah. They managed to they broke Malik Murphy.
Yeah, they're dead. They're completely and utterly dead. Arizona State snuck by West Virginia 25-23. I think they got shut out in the second half. They were miles ahead at the half, but West Virginia are a 4-win team this year so far. Their last 4-win season was 2013. They've got one last chance to alleviate that stat, right? They play Texas Tech. Not a good start for Rich Rod in West Virginia.
Nope. And Texas Tech could rest half their starters for their upcoming playoff venture. Not going to push themselves.
Nope, they might not indeed. Kentucky beat Tennessee Tech 42-10. That snaps Tennessee Tech's 15-game win streak, which is the longest in program history. It still applies against FCS opposition, though, so they are unbeaten in 15 against FCS group. We talked about them earlier. Play Tennessee Martin this week. Marshall beat Georgia State 30-18. Georgia State's kicker Braden McAllister tied the Sun Belt record with a successful 60-yard field goal, although they still lost, but good for him. North Texas 53, UAB 24. Ryan, North Texas's phenom, true freshman running back Caleb Hawkins set a mean green
The
record.
numbers the last 2, 3 weeks are
Five.
just insane.
5 rushing touchdowns in one game is a new record. Everyone's talking about Drew
Doesn't he have 9
Mestamaker.
rushing touchdowns now in 2 weeks? Or
Something
9
like
total
that.
touchdowns.
Something like that.
They're
He's
like
got
600 yards.
Yeah, everyone's talking about Drew Mestamaker right now on this team. No one's talking about he's a true freshman. I think Mestamaker's a redshirt freshman, if I'm rightly, but
Yeah.
this kid's not going to be in North Texas very long. You will see him at an Ohio State or Penn State near you shortly.
Yeah, like you say, you don't make that kind of impact very long. But I mean, Eric Morris won't be in North Texas very long. There's a lot of chatter about him, like say he's one of the top G5 head coaches, and he's only 40. He's one of the new best young offensive minds in the country.
I mean, if you could take Mestamaker and Hawkins somewhere with you, like you
Yeah.
could do an Indiana on somebody.
Imagine, like say, he yeah, if he goes somewhere, he wants to take them with him.
Mm. If you're a middling Power 4 program wanting to break into the upper echelons, you take them three together, and
Yeah,
that would tend
it
you a
comes as a
long way
package
to
deal.
probably towards doing it. Exactly. But yeah, North Texas, amazing. They're the second highest scoring offense in football. Big year for them. UTEP 24, Missouri State 38. Got this dead wrong. Had one last shot at the Miners. They did me wrong. Missouri State have become bowl eligible their first year in the FBS. Obviously, they're at 7 wins, but FCS wins don't count. They have petitioned the NCAA to remove their first year postseason ban, but knowing the NCAA, right, they've not got a chance
No,
in
I'm
hell of
pretty
doing that.
sure.
But
I think James Madison had tried that multiple
yeah, and they
times as
didn't get
well, and
it.
that it's always denied.
But a 7-win season for Missouri State with time to go is like, I don't think they'd have dreamed of such a good
No,
start.
that's well above what they must have expected.
Yeah, absolutely it is. New Mexico 20-17 winners over Colorado State. New Mexico, they're in with the Mountain West chance. They have started 5-0 at home for the first time since 1962. 53 years, the best home start. They've also snapped a 13-game losing streak against Colorado State going back to 2010. So that is a massive win. Given they lost Devin Dampier last year and now they've got this other great quarterback in there, they are going in the right direction. Texas Tech, right? 48-9 winners over UCF. This is Texas Tech's first 10-win season since 2008 when the lately departed Mike Leach was coaching them. Every win has been by at least 20 points, which is a school record. Their average win margin this year is 33.8 points. We knew they were going to do well because of the money, but fuck me. 10 wins, average scoring margin win of basically 34 points. It just shows how dominant they've been both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's not even just one side. It's not just the defensive line. It's just everybody, and it's Joey Maguire, a guy that seems to get doesn't seem to get the he just doesn't seem to get the respect he deserves because he's got a team of all stars. He was there before the all stars were there. Yeah, like I say, he's built the foundations. Yeah, and it's a team. I mean, ASU left it late, pushed Texas hard. Can Texas Tech go to the playoffs? And can they do the same thing? Can they come out of it being, like, say, a fan favorite? And, like, say, take an SEC team all the way?
And Jacob Rodriguez is pushing hard for a defensive Heisman. He
Yeah,
got a
because they
rushing
let him have a
touchdown as a
carry as a
quarterback.
Wildcat QB.
He's got an offensive touchdown as a Wildcat QB, and he
Yeah, the
just had
numbers are insane. He's PFF's number one linebacker in the country.
another 10 tackles in this one. I got an interception in this game as well, like just for good measure. He struck the Heisman post several
The
times.
draft is going to absolutely. I mean, the draft won't love him because, like I say, the measure he probably won't test well. The numbers won't be great, but passes the eye test to me. Brad, make the call. I want him.
And David Bailey is up at 71 pressures this year with 13 sacks, 18
He's gone from top
quarterback
20 to
hits,
top 15
and
to
40
maybe top
hurries.
10 first pass rusher drafted.
He's 6'3", 250 though. People won't like the size. I guess if he was like, if he put on 20 pounds, they'd love him. But as a pure thoroughbred pass rusher, I mean, 71 QB pressure. I don't think some teams have that in college football this year, let alone a player. Like,
No,
he's just having a
he's been
season for the
electric.
ages. And against West Virginia, he might get like 20. Like, he could genuinely end the season with about 80 to 85 pressures if he wanted.
Oh, easily.
Oh, and he's got the playoffs to go as well. So we could be talking pushing 100 here if they make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's where his money will come, right? In the playoffs. You do it in
yeah.
the playoffs
Does
against
it
some
there,
playoff
like you say, then yeah,
teams.
he's gonna go top 10, top 15.
Yeah, David Bailey is just absolutely insane. Cole Wisnowski again, another one of the great ones for him. Like you've seen him for ages. Romello Height and other sites. Just pick your poison. Pick your poison. They'll kill you with it. And it's back-to-back teams. They've now kept the single-digit points, which they've not done since the year 2000. I think they just continue to keep breaking records. Iowa 21, USC 26. That was 17 versus 21.
Can't
And we
believe
talked
Iowa put
about,
them.
you want me to tell you how close Iowa are this year? Iowa are also 6-4, right? The four losses are all to ranked teams. The cumulative amount, sorry, the combined number of all their losses stacked together, points wise, is 15. 16 more points from that offense and they could be a 10-0 team who've took down four ranked teams. The margins are tiny. It just shows you how elite this defense is, and just they just need it to be half decent. Four losses by 15 points and you've got four losses on the year. That must make you sick as a Hawkeyes fan.
Yeah, because they went out and they thought the best QB they could, but just don't work like that because there's no receiving core.
He had a wonderful stat though, didn't he? He had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. He was a receiver in this one. He got the trifecta, did Gronowski.
Yeah, if Gronowski can't do it, who can?
No.
It's going to be another Portal QB
Hmm.
chasing the 300 stat passing stat. We're now at 78 games
Yeah,
with no 300-yard passer.
yeah, indeed. Indeed. Penn State, 28 to 10 winners over Michigan State. Penn State narrowly avoiding their first seven-game losing streak, which would have been since 1931. We're talking nearly 100 years since they last did this. But they're breaking records this year. They're going to leave with a pair of record-breaking running backs. Katron Allen, he needs just 139 yards to be the all-time leading rusher in Penn State history. And he's got two games in which to do it. Nicholas Singleton, he needs 70 yards to go fourth. He's had a bad year by his standards. He's not going there. But he just needs three more rushing touchdowns to break Saquon Barkley's team record of 43. This may have been a miserable year for Penn State, right? But they're going to wave goodbye to two of their greatest ever running backs who are coming to the NFL, and big things await the pair of them.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters now, Penn State this season. Your season's a wash. Just give them enough carries to break the records. That's the only thing you've got to get done now, is just put them an opportunity to at least leave as legends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I wonder
that
what the
would be.
record is for a team having two players drafted, or two, like say, of the same position, that high or that close.
But what's crazy is these guys, they're going to be two of the top four rushers in Penn State history, and they've worked in a tandem their entire career. It's not like they've just been force-fed carries and they've been the only running back on the team. They've done it together. Like the pair of them are going to leave with nearly 8,000 rushing yards when
Interesting
all
to
is
see
said
how
and
the
done.
draft evaluators how far apart they are.
See, I still think Singleton's the better one, but Catron Allen's been more consistent. And I think, is Nicholas Singleton like a short yardage back who you're going to use more as, your enforcing type? And will Catron Allen be the playmaker? I don't know. But they've both been amazing. Like, that's nearly 8,000 yards and 80 touchdowns worth of production you're losing, which is insane. Illinois beat Maryland 24-6. Maryland's season has been shocking, and Loxley will be fired soon. But their defense does lead the Big Ten with 18 interceptions this year, so something you can hang your hat on. Western Kentucky beat Middle Tennessee 42-26. Middle Tennessee 1-9 this year. They're 0-6 in the CUSA. They've never had a winless conference season in the entire history of that team. They've got one chance left to avoid that fate. Nevada 55-10 winners over San Jose State. Nevada snap a 16-game Mountain West losing streak, and they matched their record for the greatest victory margin in a Mountain West game for them ever at 45, which is insane, just out of nowhere. James Madison beat App State 58-10. James Madison, right, they win their first ever Sun Belt East Championship. They had 42 minutes of possession.
The rushes were crazy.
And
How many people carried the ball?
yeah, they had 42 minutes of possession. Their offensive yard count was 627 yards to 146 of App State. I mean, they're not just beating the Sun Belt West. They're completely eviscerating everything put in front of them. And App State are not a bad football team. No one can. This is how dominant they are.
Yeah, they just five, six, seven guys, like I said, that just can carry the football. Like I said, and they just crush them.
Mm, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. James Madison that good this year. South Alabama beat Louisiana Monroe 26-14. The Jaguars wide receiver Devin Voisin goes third all time on South Alabama receiving yards behind only Jalen Tolbert, who got drafted, and Colin Lacey, who's soon to be drafted from Louisville. So get Devin Voisin on your radar, folks. He is in draftable company there with the Jags. Texas State, in the weirdest result of the week, absolutely mullered Southern Miss. This was top versus bottom of the Sun Belt West, 41-14. Tyler Robles set Texas State's program record for single season field goals with 16. Virginia 34-17 winners over Duke. Jamari Taylor, he's just 83 yards away from being just the fifth 1,000-yard rusher at Virginia Tech this century. He needs 122 yards in their last game to be the most prolific runner they've had this century. Full stop. This Virginia team, rather, one of the reasons it's so good this year, it can never usually run the football very well, but Jamari Taylor, ever since he absolutely eviscerated us when he played NC State, like the young man is so talented and on course to be the most rushing yards by a guy at Virginia since 2000.
Yeah, he has been a spark of that offense that's helped balance it all year, and he's helped put the team on his back at times and keep him firmly in the race where they belong. And it'll be interesting to see if he can just put the cherry on the top in the final week.
Absolutely. And speaking of my NC State team, absolutely destroyed by the Miami Hurricanes 41-7. Miami have 5 wins by at least 25 points this year, which is the most they've had since 2002, but it's probably not going to matter squat for them because they ain't getting to the playoffs. East Carolina, the big one here, right? 31-27 winners over Memphis. Stunning comeback from them. Memphis have scored 20 plus points in 51 consecutive games going back to November 2021, which is absolutely astounding. I mean, Memphis always a power hub of offensive players, and for East Carolina to win that from behind, good on the Pirates.
Yeah, big win from behind, well deserved. Like I said, yeah, kind of win that really does throw the cat and on the pigeons. Yeah, but I see a lot of people like say, is it Silverfield, the Memphis coach? I see a potential, like say, middling power four coach one day as well. I feel like he's destined for potentially very good things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Brent, 8,000 yards is impressive from those Penn State running backs there. Prediction for UT. We'll do the prediction for Rio Grande another time, but we will get round to that for you. Where was I at? Tulane, 35-24 winners over Florida Atlantic. FAU quarterback Caden Veltkamp he set FAU single game completion record at 39 and pass attempts at about 53. He's 8 completions away from breaking the season record for completions in an FAU season and been the air raid quarterback. We know he is. That is not surprising. Wake Forest, 28-12 winners over UNC. UNC kicker Reese Verhoff set a program record with a 57-yarder, but as we mentioned earlier, right, Wake Forest at 7-3 will have a winning season. Nobody's talking about the job Jake Dickert's done there. He did a good job with Washington State. He went to what people thought was an impossible job at Wake, and year one, I mean, all signs are good so far.
Yep, and he's done it. Robbie Ashford, one of the worst starting
Worst quote.
quarterbacks in the ACC, which takes a lot of credit. So I'll give him that. But yeah, Damon Claiborne's been outstanding this year. I really like him as a potential guy to watch going forward in draft cycles. Sneaky good little runner.
He is indeed. Ole Miss beat Florida 34-24. Florida have now lost 20 consecutive road games against ranked teams. They just don't like to travel away from the swamp, and they don't really play well at the swamp either. Utah 55, Baylor 28. Poor Sawyer Robertson. He becomes just the fourth quarterback in Baylor history with back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons. He's going to end probably fourth all time in most categories when he is said and done. No one's catching what RG3 did there. But I mean, it's been a very disappointing season for Aranda and Baylor. But Sawyer Robertson will leave as one of the best quarterbacks they've ever had, and may get some draft prospects as a thing for them at least.
Yeah, at least personally, the time there has been well spent and done very well. But yeah, for Randa, gotta go, get him out. Baylor needs a new change of direction. He is not the man for them anymore.
Yep, indeed. Um, Sam Houston, second win in a row after being the last winless team in the country. They beat Delaware 26-23, but it's still been a good year for Delaware. And you'll know about this Delaware team because last week Ryan was talking about Nick Minakuchi, their
I think
quarterback,
he's rocketed
with
up to third in the nation in passing yards. I think
he
he's passed
has
3,000 yards.
He has. He's one of 5 quarterbacks past 3,000 yards. And also, with 2 games left, as mentioned, he's surpassed 3,000 yards. He sits third on Delaware's single season passer yards list behind only Joe Flacco and Matt Nagy. He needs 381 yards in the last 2 games to overtake Matt Nagy, but he's still about 1,200 yards behind Joe Flacco. So odds are right, he's going to go second after Joe Flacco's like 4,300 yard season for them. This is literally a season for the ages for the Delaware QB, and he's up amongst some esteemed company. Nagy was a good college quarterback.
Yeah. Like I say, he is in a very fine territory right now among some legends. So it'd be great to see what he can do and, like I say, see how well he does his career. Like I say, yeah, another team that has surpassed all expectations this year, and hopefully he returns next year, stays there to complete the job, and makes them very dangerous.
I'd say, Brent, I've not been removing your comments. They're all still in there as far as I can see them. So yeah, hopefully he's rebooted it there. And then hang on, let me just get down to where the other ones were. That's as far as I got with them, but it's been nice to have these one little stat things there. Washington beat Purdue 49-13. Purdue on the course for a winless season. UNLV beat Utah State 29-26. Ohio State smashed UCLA 48-10. Florida State beat Virginia Tech 34-14. Missouri beat Miss State 49-27. And Ahmad Hardy, I think, is now the leading rusher in the nation, Ryan. I mean, not bad. It's obviously not been the season that Missouri wanted, but How many yards did he get in this? He was close to 300 yards, I believe, in this game, something stupid like that. He was going at like 20 yards per carry or something stupid like that. This has been a very productive year for him when all
Yeah,
is said
he
and done.
deserves to be a Heisman candidate, but unfortunately, Missouri won't allow that because, like I said, they've blown too hot and cold. But yeah, the future for him, like I say, as a maybe a Heisman sleeper next year and as a NFL running back, very bright. He
Yeah.
can, yeah, he made the perfect move for his career.
Yep, he's at 1,345 rushing yards, which weirdly enough, he's 1 yard short of what he managed at ULM last year on 40 less carries. He's got 28 touchdowns in his first 2 years. He's only fumbled the ball 6 times on 436 carries as a true freshman and a true sophomore. He's just put up some stupidly gaudy numbers this year. He is absolutely insanely good. Jacksonville State beat Kennesaw State 35 to 26 in the battle at the top of the CUSA. Gives JV State the inside track there. Washington State smacked Louisiana Tech 28 to 3. BYU thumped TCU 44 to 13. Fresno State beat Wyoming 24 to 3, and San Diego State 17 to 7 winners over Boise. San Diego State are putting together historic defense here. Apart from that one massive blip against Hawaii, the number of single digit victories, single digits they've had in terms of teams facing off against them. And their quarterback threw for only like 35 yards. They grounded and pounded Boise, and we just don't see that very often.
Nope. Like I say, a team that is just so used to having its way and being hard to beat, just absolutely manhandled in that sense. And yeah, it's been a interesting season for them. Say for Boise, I mean, it could still all end up in being a massive success if they can kind of fluke their way into a championship game, which it would feel like at this point they would, and it wouldn't be all that deserving.
Nope, we would not indeed. Right, that is everything for week 12 out the way. And we're going to finish this one off because we have been going a while with our pick watch for week 13. There are not many interesting fixtures around because a lot of the ranked teams are not playing and the rest of the SEC are playing their scrub schedules. Better week. Ryan, you went Oh, yeah, you went 6-4, but you're back up to parity. You're 60 and 60, so we'll keep this one going. There's some big games at the top this week, starting with USC at Oregon. A lot of teams keeping an eye on this one. Oregon been good this year, but they've struggled in the big games. USC, Jordan Maeva and co. had a big comeback win from behind against Iowa. They're 11 points down at the half. This is USC's high-powered offense against Oregon's world-class defense for the most part in this one. Can USC pull off a shock in Eugene, or are Oregon going to take this?
I don't look at Oregon and think world-class defense. It has flattered to deceive at times, especially the D line. I think USC win this with their high-powered offense.
I've got USC as well, I believe, in Jordan Maeva. A big one at the top of the American, Pittsburgh on the road at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech at hot top alone. Pittsburgh are one of their three challengers for this pick coming off that bad loss to ND, but Georgia Tech have looked vulnerable in recent weeks. And in fact, I don't even think I mentioned it in this one. I think I missed it completely. They nearly lost to Boston College this week. I can't believe that must be the only game I've forgotten. They won 34-32. They snuck out of this game, obviously losing the week before. Georgia Tech look vulnerable. Haynes King looks a bit vulnerable, and this one thing Pitt can do is hassle a quarterback who looks hurried. Do Pitt have one last hurrah in him, or Georgia Tech going to seal their seal their appearance in the American title game?
Kind of like Pittsburgh for the upset.
So do I. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I love
Okay.
Georgia Tech. I just don't trust them.
Okay, there we go. Staying in the ACC, Florida State at NC State, Ant versus Ash, the one we had been looking forward to for a long time, but both teams have been so shite that there's really nothing bordering on this now. It's kind of playing for personal pride here at this point. But of course, I'm going to be a homer and go NC State, even if I think Florida State are going to absolutely kick our ass. Who have you got, right, in the battle of misfits in the ACC?
FSU have burned me too many times this year.
So pick them so I win. Don't
I'll
drag
take
me down with
NC,
you.
I'll take NC State just.
Oh God, here we go. Okay, I'm blaming you if we lose. BYU at Cincinnati. I mean, this is intriguing because BYU are obviously smarting from that loss. They recovered in a big way last week, but Cincinnati also on a two-game skid now. But Cincinnati have to win to keep their title alive, and generally they've been very good at home. The offense has been good. Tigers shown a little bit of, you know, indecisiveness when pressured, but and the Cincy defense is pretty good. But who's going to win and keep their hopes alive in the Big 12?
I like the Bearcats to pull off the big upset and keep the dream alive.
You're
I
going
think
with
I think
Cincy?
Salisbury will outduel Backmeyer.
All right. I have got BYU, but some part of me wants B1. For some part of me wants Cincy to win. We got TCU at Houston. Houston are part of that crop on the edge right now. TCU are just a pain in the arse every week. Probably neither of them going for a title game here, but an interesting one in the mid-sphere of the Big 12. Who have you got?
Uh, Hoover's looked pretty poorly recently, so I think it'll have to be Houston.
Yeah, I've got Houston as well. Right, the big one. East Carolina at UTSA, right, in the American. East Carolina, after that big win over Memphis, come from behind. To keep their title hopes alive, they have to go and play UTSA. But before you make your pick, I will just remind you, UTSA in conference have won their last 24 straight home conference games. The last time they lost at home to a conference opponent was November 23rd, 2019. 6 years they have been unbeaten at home in conference. And they are still a good team. It's just their away form has been shite this year. But East Carolina, this burgeoning Pirates program, are they going to be the one, right, who finally snaps this absolutely unbreakable home bond that UTSA have with the Alamo Dome?
Nope, I'm going to stay true to the Alamo Dome.
So am
No
I.
one's upset and they defend their territory.
UTSA are always my one. I know a lot of people have picked ECU this week. I don't think they realize how good UTSA, even a bad UTSA team, they can't lose at the Alamodome. No American team's ever beaten them there. Not one. So, hoo-ha. Minnesota at Northwestern. I've just said how bad Minnesota's record is when they leave, but they're playing Northwestern, who are threatening bowl eligibility this year, but they're Northwestern. Can Minnesota finally break their road hoodoo and beat Northwestern, or are Brown and Co. gonna become bowl eligible?
No, Minnesota are winning on the road this year.
You're going Northwestern.
Yep.
I am gonna go one last time in Minnesota's corner, and if they let me down, we're gonna have to have a talk about that next season. Marshall at Appalachian State, battle of runners-up in the Sun Belt East, both way behind James Madison. App State just coming off that absolutely pummeling they got. Marshall have been much better than we thought they'd be given the departures they had. They are about 500 this year. Who have you got in the Sun Belt, right?
Uh, take Marshall.
I've got Marshall as well because App State have just had their ass handed to them, and that might derail their entire season. We got Louisville at SMU. SMU, one of the three teams who can sneak in and take the title away from Georgia Tech. But I know Louisville are out of it, but they're still a good team at the end of the day. They're the banana skin. You don't really want to play this at the end of the year. Can Louisville upset SMU? Or are SMU potentially going to book their second American Championship appearances in the first 2 years in the conference?
I think LSU, I think Louisville are scorned. I think they bite back and they end SMU season.
All right, I'm going to take SMU, but I think that might happen as well. And finally, the big one. We're going to end this show, as we always do, talking about Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors, right, on the road against UNLV. This is simply must win for their hopes of meeting the Mountain West title game. They came up against San Jose State. They wiped the floor with, sorry, San Diego State, the only team to beat the table toppers this year, although it was at home. But last time they were on the road against San Jose State, it was what, a 48-45 shootout. UNLV loves to score points. It's probably going to be another big scorer. Can Hawaii do it and put themselves one step closer to what would be the most extraordinary achievement ever? Or are Dan Mullen and co. going to put a bow on what has been a nice season for Hawaii, but are they going to end any unrealistic expectations of a mountain crown?
Uh, I think UNLV just edged them in a huge shootout.
Okie dokes. I have been an absolute Hawaii homer here. That's why I finish bottom of the pick watch every year because I can't separate my emotions from what my brain is actually feeling. But yeah, I've got Hawaii. Um, and that is going to be my pick there. And hopefully they do. I will be so delighted if they do. They're going to need that big time. Right, that is it. And there is not, again, many other games going on this weekend or much thing. So we're going to leave it there because we've been going for 3 hours. Thank you for everyone who has joined us this evening. Mile Barker's back. He goes, come on, Gophers, still shut from Oregon, but they can do it. Hopefully they can indeed. So yeah, thank you for everyone who's joined us this evening. I know there's been a lot in there. FCS playoffs, FBS playoffs, G5 players, draft players, the recap, all that sort of stuff. We're at that time of year now where there's going to be a lot coming forward. In terms of next shows, tomorrow we'll be back with the New York Giants preview for the Lions, which is going to be a good one. Hopefully having our friend Adam Albrecht on from Giants U. He's from a Giants podcast over in America. Trying to make contact with him, so we'll see what happens there. Of course, the guys will be live for the game on Sunday, so join them for that. Then, of course, me and Ryan will be back next Wednesday. And it will be, or will have been, Selection Sunday, so it is Ryan's time to put his FCS knowledge to the test and try and predict the entire bracket for the playoffs. He did a tremendous job last year, so we're going to see if he can do it again. That's always good fun. And then, of course, we'll recap the best of the stuff that happened in week 13 and look ahead at the permutations for all the conferences as we head into the last week of the season. And then, of course, I will be carrying on with my search for the group of five for some of the best players in the group of five. As always, we're sort of going to head into draft season now and start doing a few more drafty things. So if there's players you like, if there's players you want us to look through, if there's position groups you want us to look through, any of that sort of stuff, we'll do it for you. I did see a comment earlier asking about if we would do an updated center and offensive line list. So we'll get to that. Obviously, a lot of Lions fans looking for Taylor Decker's future replacement and looking for a center for next year as well. So we will update our lists with prospects for the draft for that. Obviously, as people start declaring, that will help as well. But if there's any other questions you've got regarding that, regarding anything, then we will do that for you. I think that's just about it. It remains me to thank Rye. It's been another good one. It's been a long one, but we've not much college football left now, so we need to enjoy it whilst we can. Is there anything else you want to quickly get off your chest before we're out of here, Rye?
Nope. I'm ready. Like I say, the end is in sight. The big dance is almost here.
It,
And like I say, I'm ready to scrutinize the playoff committee's decision like last year, tear it to shreds.
oh, absolutely, we are. It's what we live for. We live for the playoff committee and the mistakes they make with these things. So that is going to be good fun. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's joined. There may be a watch along this week. I will see potentially eyeing up that Pittsburgh Georgia Tech game on Saturday night because there are a lot of draftable prospects from those two teams that it would be nice to watch. So we'll see. Hopefully, we're able to do one. If not, then we'll do more before the season ends. I've been really busy with work recently, so we've not been able to do them. But yeah, we're aiming for Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech on Saturday. So hopefully we'll see you there. If not, but yeah, thanks, Ryan. Not sure whether Matt's here or not, so we're done. And if he's there, then we'll go off. If not, then yeah, we'll just hang around here for a moment while he is. So yeah, have a good week, Brent. Have a good week, Mal Barker, Grandizer, Lisa, everybody in the building. We shall see you again soon. One pride. And no, he's not here, so we're just gonna have to hang around for a little bit. I have messaged him, but I hope he's not gone to sleep. Let me get him on. Let me get him on Discord. Probably for he's gone shopping, so hopefully shopping hasn't taken 3 hours. Yeah, screw it. Anything you want to ask us before we get out of here, that's fine. You get an extra couple of minutes of us. Um, oh, Brent says caught COVID again, and this has been a pleasure. Hey, I hope you get better soon, Brent. Didn't realize you caught the COVID again, but hopefully we've been able to alleviate some of that pain for you over the last few hours with some good college content. But yeah, seriously, we hope you're feeling better soon. It's never pleasant. It has just started to plummet to Arctic temperatures over here. So we're going to get the cold rounds going soon. It's absolutely freezing.
Yeah, I've had snow.
Oh, have you had
Got snow.
snow?
Yeah.
I've not had any snow yet. Damn it. Oh, is Hank out playing in the snow? Is Hank enjoying that stuff? Are you taking him out in it, or is he not bothered?
He loves the snow, he just hates the cold. So it's a trade-off.
He loves snow but hates cold,
It goes
so
out, jumps in it, runs around it, regrets it.
bless him. Oh, bless him. Yeah. It's shut off. Yeah, we had a load of snow in the peaks over here in the high regions, but I've not had any so far, so it's a pain in the neck. Not had anything good. Yeah, you're getting some more time of us here because Matt's running the stream tonight, and I don't know where he is. If he's gone to sleep, then we're going to be here a long time. So hopefully not. Oh God, I could talk football in the meanwhile, maybe. Oh Lord.
So tonight you've got two MAC games soon.
Oh yeah, we did do that, didn't we? We've not done. We can quickly go over what's going on tonight.
Two big games.
Yeah, so we had some results already. Akron beat Bowling Green. Wow, so they're 4-4 in the MAC this year. Akron,
Yeah.
Bowling Green are 1-6. Wow, I didn't realize Bowling Green had fell off that bad, but I didn't realize Akron were that good. Western Michigan won 35 to 19 over Northern Illinois. Yeah, 300-yard rushes. That's not happened in a game for 6 years, I don't think. It's very rare you get that one there. And obviously Ohio smoked UMass, but Buffalo, that's the
That's
one.
an eliminator, isn't it? Miami and Buffalo's an eliminator.
And
Lucia's
that
done.
that Buffalo team at the start of this year, like we were waxing lyrical about it. Like there's so many stuff. Like how have they struggled so much this year?
I mean, Ohio, DeQuan Finn, he's left the program, hasn't he? And is
As
it Messi, the freshman? He was terrible
oh
last week.
yeah, yeah,
I think Miami's screwed now.
yeah. They're in a lot of bother. Who's the one I was going to mention? Um, the Buffalo linebacker Red Murdoch is having like an insanely good season. You know, after last year when they had Dolak,
Yeah,
I think Red is like he's got like 6 forced fumbles or something this year. Um, like there's individually good players on that Buffalo team, but for some reason they've just not put it together at all. It's the offense, I think, that's been the problem, which was always going to be the issue because the defense has been it's supposedly good. I've not even checked in on how Kobe Stewart was doing when I said how good he was last year. He's probably, oh, he's got 3 sacks this year. Oiks. That was probably a misguided one there. But yeah, who have we got? Yeah, I might stay up and watch that.
with Central Michigan. I mean, they can take one big step towards the title game, can't they, if they can beat Kent State?
Yeah. Um, you can see. Mark Marcus says, "Tell me more about." So there's a big fascination. Texas, Rio, Valley, Grande. No, Gangon, Rio, Valley, Grande, football. So they want to know more about the new team. So they're in the Southland, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros. I believe Vaqueros is Spanish for cowboy, no, or something like that. I think it's something. So how does a new team come to be? I think it's just teams that don't have a football program. They're able to set one up. You obviously, I guess you've got to meet stadium requirements. Um, you know, you've got to have certain sizes and everything. But I think it's just a case of you invest enough money in a program, and then you start the program from there, really. So the university's new as well. It's only a decade old. So I think it's a brand new university, and now they've got the football team there. So the first game was in September. Um, the stadium is pretty big. How big is the stadium? Do you remember them saying?
Oh, it's pretty big.
Hang on, let me see if I can Rio Van Grande. See, you've caught us on one here. We've not really done much on them so far. Um, where are we? So they had,
12,000.
yeah.
So it's massive.
So it's called the
It used
Robert
to
and
be in USL, so it used to be a professional soccer league stadium, so it's massive.
so they've changed it over there. So yeah, they're in the Southland. They didn't have a team. So it goes back. They did have a team up till the 1950s, and then they've not had a team. And then this is the first year they go back. And I think, you're in sort of a football rich area, really, aren't you? Obviously, you've had the
Yeah.
new creations of new conferences. So they've gone into the Southland. I think the Southland got poached by the WAC and all that when they created the UAC. So there is a sponsor. But I guess the new football thing is, you get the stadium, you get the funding, you get the backing behind it, and then fill in all the requisite paperwork, and then, the team comes out of the blue and you just start it
Mm.
from scratch, really.
They start a series with UTSA next year, Texas State in 2027, then Rice, Texas State. Yes, they've got big non-cons lined up.
Yeah, they got Prairie View A&M as well. That's the HBCU. Texas A&M Kingsville, I guess Texas A&M Commerce as well. Yeah, I think and I guess there must be the need. Well, you say the need for it. There's enough teams down in Texas, but I guess you can never have too many teams in Texas because it's obviously football mad area, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just love the name, the Vaqueros. It's no one else has named it. You've got something a little bit different there. Orange and grey is their color. I like the unis that they're using. Um, but yeah, we'll have to have a more of a look down into them at some point going forward. But yeah, it's yeah, brand new. Anywho, Matt is here now. We've stayed with you a little bit longer. The first season prediction for them. We'll have a look. We'll have a look at the schedule they're making next year. I mean, they've obviously had one this year, but we'll try and do an accurate prediction for them next year, and we'll do some sort of a breakdown. But we will do that for you there. Yeah, it is the University of Texas system, I believe. Or it's the Texas Rio Grande Valley. Um, but yeah, they offer opposition for now. Anywho, we're going to leave that. Matt's here. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We shall see you again very soon. And yeah, one pride.